I don't go live usually. I want to do this more, but I have to do it right now because memory is my phone memory is full, so I don't have any choice but to go live. So I'm hoping that this works. I have been following the Sebastian Rogers case, and obviously I know like there's a lot of drama going on. I am the smallest creator on YouTube. I am here. I have gotten attached to 3 cases, and I have been going down the rabbit hole. Like this channel, this is I don't know what her name is down the rabbit hole, but she seems like a cool chick. But she is talking to SF Investigates, and I have questions. I am not somebody that is gonna push a narrative, follow a narrative. I watch everybody's opinion and then I form my own opinion. And based on what I've seen, I don't understand people that are supporting Chris and Katie so much. And I'm not trying to throw them under the bus right now. I'm just saying, if my child, if we go back to the beginning, if I woke up and my child was not in their bed, I would be screaming, running around. I would be calling 911. Yes, I would call my husband. I don't give her any, I'm not throwing shame on her for that. I don't think that that's that strange. A lot of people do that in a crisis. Like, for example, my mom and dad live on a farm, and my dad fell, and what we later found out, he broke some ribs, but he couldn't get up. It was a really bad fall. My mom was freaking out, and she called my brother, who lives like an hour and a half away from her, and my brother had to tell her, call 911. And I think she just went into shock. She didn't know what to do, so I don't think that that's that strange. What I do find strange are the following things that I have been seeing. One of which is that Katie got in her car. And this is, okay, so everything that I'm saying is alleged, and it's my opinion, my speculations, based on the research that I've done, and looking at all of the different creators that have been following the case, not getting caught up in the drama of it, because that is really ridiculous. Like, the focus does need to be on Sebastian. Now, the evidence to me, I do see evidence of foul play, okay? So I think when investigators say that, it's because they don't quite have a case yet. They're not going to come out and say that they have some information if they're looking at somebody, because they don't want to freak them out. Okay, so cooperating with the police does not necessarily mean that you're speaking to the police. They can say they're cooperating, and the police can say they're cooperating, and the last, I don't know why we're not getting any kind of information. It's like nearly as bad as the Idaho case, but not quite, because there's not gag orders yet, but it's kind of looking like there might be with the whole Betty thing, which is a whole nother thing, but which is ridiculous. I mean, if people follow the Karen Reed trial and watch Turtle Boy, like, look at all of the shit that he gets away with. He's literally calling people murderers every fucking time he goes on his live stream. So I don't understand the different laws in the different states regarding that, but I mean, my personal opinion is that he should be in frickin' jail right now. Like, he has tormented those people, and he does it on his show every time he goes live. And if he sees them in public and it's insanity. And the man is out free, going to the court as a journalist during the trial, knowing what the jurors are, knowing all the information, because he's in there as a journalist watching the whole the jury selection, and getting information straight from Karen Reed and her defense team. I mean, it's ridiculous, and they have evidence of it. It's in court documents already. I don't know why he's not in jail already. Anyway, went off on a tangent there. I want to talk about Sebastian real fast. So I'm just thinking, and I know that everybody responds differently, and I'm totally aware of that. But I think the majority of moms would freak the fuck out. And I would be like scrambling around my house. I would be knocking on my neighbors' doors. Yeah, I would probably go driving like she supposedly did, but I don't understand where she went. It seemed like, there are rumors of her meeting up with Chris's mother. I don't know if that is true or not, but it seems legit. Okay, then she gets back home. Chris has to tell her. She calls Chris. Chris supposedly calls the police from his job, which is like, 2.5 hours away from where they're at? Like, none of that makes sense. The fact that she couldn't call 911, but she could get behind the wheel of a weapon. I mean, a vehicle is a weapon. So if you are not coherent and you're in shock and you're freaking out, you should not be driving. But so she did that, and then she did not call 911. Chris apparently did. That whole thing is so sketchy about, was she on the line? Was she not on the line? Chris had to tell her to get home. She, in her second interview, I think she said she ran home, and then she said, oh, oops, I drove home, which is another really strange little leakage, I feel like. So then she gets home, there's police there, and then that's where I kind of get lost. I mean, I'm sure they were questioning. I don't know why they weren't running a parallel investigation. To me, that's super strange, and I don't understand what the deal is with Tennessee and these children going missing. Elijah Vu went missing, and the parent and the boyfriend went to jail while they searched for Elijah, because it was I think it was something to do with child abuse or child endangerment or some form of that they arrested them for. So what is going on in Tennessee where if your child goes missing and you can't find them, and they went missing from your home, and the fact that there is no evidence except what I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but according to all of these people like SF Investigates and the TBI and crap, they're saying there's no evidence. That is evidence in and of itself. If a child leaves a home, there will be evidence. Now, they're not master criminals, and they cannot elude all of the cameras, and they cannot elude their scent being spotted. There are so many different stories about if there was scent. Now, the one creator that I watch specifically for this case, because I think that this creator is legit. He is not getting into the drama. He doesn't participate in that. And I don't understand, different creators have different contacts. Like JLR spoke to one of the neighbors. There's a bunch of different people there that are speaking to different people. There's different cameras. Okay, but if any person walks out of a house and leaves, there will be a scent. Now, SF Investigates is talking about this dog scent that supposedly went to the pond that we heard on the scanner that first day. As far as I know, that was debunked, and it was not Sebastian's scent. The credible evidence that I know of seems to be allegedly that there was scent of Sebastian in the home. Obviously, there should be, but there was no scent outside anywhere. That is the evidence that I find credible from credible sources. Again, it's allegedly. I don't know that to be fact, but if that's the case, that is evidence in and of itself. Because if a human being leaves, or any living creature leaves a certain space, that space that they leave will have their scent, and wherever they go will also have their scent. So I don't understand why
Was Idris impossible?
I don't understand all the differing reports. I think the police said that there wasn't a scent, but I don't know if they said that in a press conference. If there's no scent of Sebastian leaving that house, that means that that's evidence of foul play right there, because that means that he was taken out of that house by car, or I feel like it would almost have to be car, because I don't know how there wouldn't be a scent. Now, the scent that Chris is talking about and SF Investigates talks about in this interview with Down the Rabbit Hole, a couple different creators have put out video. Okay, so there is video evidence, and I do not understand why people like Steve Fisher, I think his name is, SF, and Down the Rabbit Hole, and Clueminati, and, all of these people that are supporting Chris and Katie. I have questions, and I really have questions for Chris and Katie. And so if they would answer these questions, I feel like that would be a very good thing. There are lights, and there's a lot of things happening on video from a neighbor, and that video is out. I'm sure Chris and Katie have seen it. There are, certain things happening. There's a car there. There may or may not have been some, I can't remember what you call them, but like blocking signals for cameras and things, which is what Katie does for a living, and that's what she specialized in the Army or Navy. I can't remember what she was in. Okay, so she's very wise when it comes to security systems, electronics, things like that. Okay, so there was a lot of things going on down there at the corner at this neighbor's. The scent that Chris talks about and the scent that Steve Fisher talks about here goes exactly the path of what this little light show was happening out in their backyard. Okay, so that's exactly the path that we see happening. We can't tell if it was Sebastian. We can't tell what kind of condition he was in, but we know something happened there. And there were at least two to three people involved with this. And one of the people went straight back to Sebastian's house. There's only one person that was in that house with Sebastian in the morning. Sebastian was gone, actually. There's only one person in the house that night, I should say, as far as we know. Now, there's question about whether or not Chris was there. I've heard conflicting things about, he might have been there for the weekend. This CPS situation with both Faith and Sebastian, we're not getting truth from him on that. And there is pretty credible evidence that he may have been told that he needs to be removed from the house. There are very credible sources that have told us that Chris was going to file for divorce right before this happened. There were a lot of issues happening with Sebastian and Chris. The way that they spoke about him, which I'm going to get into in a minute. So the biggest evidence is the fact that we see lights leaving Sebastian's house. That is apparently where the dog went. Chris tells us that. So whether or not that's true, I have no idea. They may have been trying to cover their butt because they knew the video was out. They knew that was happening. So they were trying to figure out how to... I don't know. This whole thing is so effing crazy. Okay, and then the whole situation with once your child is missing and you're not pleading with the news. I don't remember a single mother or father that acted in the way that these two acted. I don't give a shit if people are bugging you, calling you names, whatever the fuck they're doing. Fuck them. If that was my child, I would be getting on every newscast I could. I would be talking to the universe, not on fucking YouTube, not on all this social media bullshit where all these rumors are spread. You don't need to pay attention to that. That's not where, I have only been on YouTube for like, I don't know, maybe 6 months. That might not be quite 6 months. I don't know, something like that. Not long. And I don't post a lot because I have very specific things about certain cases that bother me. And this one is getting to the point where it is absolutely ridiculous that the law enforcement is not taking some action with this, and that the parents, Katie, the mother and the stepdad, are not talking. That is bullshit. And Steve says that in this interview, that the police told him not to talk to the media very much, like just talk about very specific things. What in the hell are you scared of to go on the news and talk about your child? Tell them everything. Why are you not an open book? Why did it take you 7 or 8 days to do one interview with the media? The very first day that they decided that they needed to pull back the search and start doing the investigation, which, apparently they're not calling a criminal investigation, but I'm sorry, if the FBI is involved in offering a $50,000 reward for a missing child, that is a criminal investigation. That is what we call a clue, that it is a criminal investigation. So, what in the actual heck? There's my little baby girl. She wants to be in the picture right now, I guess. Here comes another guy. You'll come up here, Spirit? So, hi, buddy. You wanna be on YouTube? You wanna be YouTube famous? YouTube would be YouTube famous because you're so freaking cute. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, yes, you're so cute. You're so cute. Thank you. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. I'm getting kisses. You're so sweet. Yes. My fur babies, for example, if one of them somehow got out and was missing, I would lose my shit. In fact, that did happen to me once, a long time ago, when my dog was at my parents' farm. And long story, it was like losing my child. For 6 months, I did not know what in the hell happened. And I was driving 5 hours in every direction from where I lived, putting up missing poster signs, talking to people locally. It was that, and that was my fur baby. There was nothing in the world that was going to stop me from looking for my child, my fur baby. Nothing. I'm sure I looked like a crazy person because I felt crazy because I lost a part of myself and I could not find it. And I was doing everything in my power to find my fur baby. This is what I don't understand. Why are you not going on, you went on Nancy Grace once. You both looked like you were completely Xanaxed out. You were so dull. It looked like you were reading a script, which I know they usually call you and give you questions that they're going to tell you that they're going to ask you so that you can prepare and not be caught off guard. So you prepared your script, and, I'm sure Nancy threw a question or two in there that you weren't prepared for, and you were like, no, we can't talk about that because the police told us not to talk about that. The police told you not to talk about your make and model of your vehicles. Like Nancy said, they're sitting in your frickin' driveway. People know what you drive. No police officer, in my opinion, would ever tell parents not to talk to the press. What in the actual hell? If that's actually happening, then TBI, I want to understand that. And so does the rest of the world. If you're giving that that direction to parents with a missing child to not talk to the press very much, why? Why would you do that? Why would you not be pleading with the public to find your child in every possible way that you can? Why? I don't believe a police officer or police department did that. So why did you say that on Nancy Grace? Why? And why are you so scared to answer questions? And why do things not make sense when you do answer questions? And why do you get so upset? Now it seems like, you know, there are a couple creators out there that are talking to you and supporting you, and you're all lovey-dovey trying to make nice to everybody. It's like a total personality change. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So what is happening? Why are you not looking for your child? If the police told you not to go look for your child, I have to wonder why, first of all. Because you are, especially Katie, you know your child better than anybody. You are his mother. You don't go and look for your child. No fucking police officer or FBI agent or anybody in the whole world. Sorry, baby. Oh, shit. He's calling me. Dang it. Would stop me from looking for my child. All right, hold on. Hold on, I gotta go get my husband. Something happened. I think he got locked out.
No, it wasn't. I like standing here waiting.
I'm like, what is happening right now? Okay. I know, well, I answered it. I'm like filming, so I don't know why it didn't work. Sorry, folks that are listening. I was having a crisis at home. I apologize. It wasn't really a crisis. Crisis averted. Okay, so why? Why are you not speaking out on national news? Screw all of this social media shit. Forget about it. Don't worry about what anybody is saying about anything. The number one priority in my mind would be finding my child. I would not leave my home. What was it? 2 weeks that you gave it and then you left? I mean, it just, why? You know, so many people have said, you don't look for something that isn't lost. And it sure seems to me like that's the case. And I don't understand why. And I don't understand why the police are not taking action. I don't understand why there aren't laws that protect children and hold parents accountable. If your child is missing in your care and you don't go look for him and you don't like go on every news station that, I mean, you were getting invitation after invitation after invitation to go talk about this, and you refused. The FBI put out a reward, and you had no comment. I mean, what in the actual hell? You did put out a comment a couple days later, but why does it take you a couple days to say, thank you, we appreciate the help from the FBI? And then most recently, I have seen, and this is allegedly, because I don't know if it was fact-checked, one of your mother's cousin or something to that effect, that would be your second cousin, made a post about how she feels. This is your own family, Katie. I don't understand this. Is it true that that Chris was going to file for divorce? These are my questions. Chris, were you going to file for divorce? You had 2 phone lines disconnected right before this happened. It seemed like, I mean, you were gone from home for a month. I get that it's a drive, but I have been in relationships where one of us had a crazy work schedule and we're working away from home, and there is no way in hell we would be apart for a month. I mean, in that situation, if it was something like one of us had to go take care of our parents or something, I mean, that might be, but I just feel like we would see each other at least every 2 weeks. Like, I don't understand why you were not at the house for a month. And then there are conflicting stories. And again, all of this is, allegedly, but we're not getting any information. And it doesn't seem to me like you're doing anything to help find your child. What are you doing? You brought flyers to people on TikTok, and that was a whole thing. That's the first thing that I've heard that you've done, other than get in your car and be gone for 45 minutes and allegedly go meet up with Chris's mother. What was that about? Did that happen? Because there are a lot of accounts of that happening, and I'm not sure if that's on camera, because there are cameras in stoplights and at convenience stores and things like that. So do the police have that? What are the police doing? I really want to know. Dog the Bounty Hunter, I really want to know. You have connections. Help us. Give us information. Help us. Help us help you. We want to help. I don't understand how law enforcement and people are saying that there is no foul play. The immediacy of the fact that your child is missing from your home, he doesn't have any shoes missing, he didn't take anything. Autistic people are especially attached to schedule, like structure, and they have certain things that they love and that makes them feel comfortable. And he didn't take anything like that with him. It really seems to me like when Seth got there and noticed that his shoes were there, that's when the whole, oh, he didn't have any shoes on. This child does not enjoy going outside and getting dirty. This child does not like insects. And he's going to leave in the middle of the night with no shoes, nothing that he loves, no sign of forced entry or exit things happening that he could or couldn't do. Katie, you were telling everybody that he walked out that door. I don't know why he walked out that door. Why are you so sure that he walked out that door? And if he did walk out that door, why is there no evidence of that? No evidence. This child is not a criminal mastermind. So many of your neighbors have cameras. Many of us believe you had cameras. You work in security. You install security systems. This is what you do for a living. This is what you did in the Force, Army, or Navy. I can't remember which. This is what you did. And you're not going to have cameras? Many of us don't believe that. Many of us do not believe that. So what in the actual hell happened to all of the footage that should have recorded this child? I couldn't run away from home and not leave evidence. There would be evidence, and I am more mature and have more intelligence as an adult than a child, a 15-year-old child. I don't understand why these people are not being held accountable. And I understand that Seth is doing some crazy shit. I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. I'm trying to find this child and hold the people accountable that did something with him. And we all hope that he's still alive, but many of us do not think that that's possible at this point. He doesn't have his medication. He didn't take anything with him. I mean, this is evidence. The fact that there's no evidence is evidence. Make it make sense, Katie. Make it make sense. What happened to Sebastian? How do you know he walked out that front door? Because that's the only door he could have gone out because of the locking mechanism or the noise. We have seen pictures of the inside of your house. You said that you went into his bedroom, which you literally from your bedroom walk through the kitchen to his bedroom. And then you find that he's missing, and then you say that you walked into the kitchen to see if he was getting a breakfast. Make that make sense. You literally just walked through the kitchen to go to his bedroom. So why are you walking back into the kitchen? You would have seen him. You would have heard him. You're his mother. You know. You have that sixth sense. What is happening? Law enforcement, what is happening? This cannot be another Summer Wells situation. Tennessee, you need to get your shit together. There are a lot of problems with things happening in Tennessee with children, and people are not being held accountable. It is scary, and your whole community, I believe, based on the people that have spoke out, are scared. And they all believe one thing. Everybody that has talked to anybody that are sources all believe the same thing. Because we see all of this crap happening. We see people leaving Sebastian's house with flashlights. We see a car. We see something happening. And then one person runs back to the house. And then in the morning, Katie's the only one in the house. That in and of itself is evidence of foul play. Right there. So what in the hell, law enforcement, TBI, FBI, help us understand why there is no action being taken. This is ridiculous. You cannot allow this shit to happen. Parents need to be held accountable for their children until they are 18 years old. That is their number one job. And again, Katie is not speaking out when, Chris was protecting her. Give me a fucking break. This woman is, well-trained in the Army. I cannot remember. I'm sorry if it's Army or Navy. I feel like it's Navy, so I'm going to say Navy. She's well-trained. She's not shy, but she, apparently acts like she is not able to speak. I mean, come on. The first interview that you guys did, you only showed your hands. Why is that? I don't understand that. Help me understand why you only showed your hands. That is strange. Then the second interview, they asked you a question and you looked at Chris and you were giggling, but then you made it look like you were crying. It was very strange. I might make a short out of that because I haven't heard anybody talk about that. It is very strange. It is shit, what do I say? Help me. And you smiled. It was probably a nervous smile. Chris doesn't need to fucking speak for you, Katie. He is not Sebastian's father. You are Sebastian's mother. Help me understand why you are not out there on the front lines doing whatever you can, ignoring anybody that's saying shit. I mean, you are an adult. Can you not just fucking handle yourself? Again, I mean, help me understand. You're military. Why is any of this shit difficult for you? Why is Sebastian not your number one priority? Why are you not speaking out about him? Why are you not answering questions? Why does Chris speak for you? And Chris, why do you play word games? It's so fucking stupid. You keep saying, I didn't say that. I didn't say who passed the lie detector test. The question was, did you both, literally, word for word, did you both take a lie detector test? And what were the results? So in the question, they asked you, did you both take a lie detector test? And you said yes or yep, passed. You cannot say that that's truthful. You cannot say that you're parsing words. That was a very direct question. It included both of you. And then when you go on Nancy Grace, we find out that you didn't take a lie detector test. And based on information from a source in Hendersonville, Katie did not pass. Her results were inconclusive, and she was on Xanax, and she couldn't, it was inconclusive. That is what I've been told. The police have not come out and said that anybody has passed the lie detector test. Seth is the only person that took a lie detector test, and he took it with Nancy Grace. Love her or hate her, that woman is going to find the truth. And she will not fuck around. Fuck around and find out with Nancy Grace. And Seth passed. He's the only one that we know that passed. And he took it with a frickin' like top dog that used to be FBI on Nancy Grace. With Nancy Grace. Not on the show, but they discussed the results. So, you know, Seth also said that he would dance with the devil to find Sebastian. So, whatever he does and says, I think you maybe need to look at the fact that he's keeping Sebastian's name out there. He is still going on news programs. Anytime that he can get on a program and speak about Sebastian, he is doing it. That is awareness. That is what parents do. That is how you don't find your child drifting off into the ether and nobody remembers. Which seems to be what you, Katie, and you, Chris, want. It just seems to be that way. And it seems to be like you thought that this was just going to go away. You didn't do a national TV news when you were on the news for your interviews. You did it with frickin' YouTubers. Why? And why are you not showing your face? And why are you leaving the home that Sebastian knows that if he comes back? Why? That seems to me like you know he's not coming back. And then you put surveillance up on the outside of your RV where the two of you, Katie and Chris, are staying, but you don't have surveillance outside of your actual home with an autistic child. And that's what you do for a living, is you install security systems? I don't understand this. And then they got warrants to check landfills. Make that make sense. They got warrants to check 2 different landfills because the first one they checked, they found out that's not where their garbage goes. It goes to a different place. So then they went and did that one. What were they looking for? The rumor is that it was heavy, which is weird. I have no idea what that would mean. I don't know what they were looking for, but a big part of me thinks it was surveillance cameras that were taken down. But I don't know that they would be that stupid to put their surveillance cameras in their own trash can. So I have no idea. That could be something that they did to throw them off, where people are like, oh, this kid is missing, and, you know, if they feel a heavy trash can. I mean, did you throw away all of Sebastian's shit like you do, Chris? You were pissed off at him, and you were like, clean your room, and he was like, no. Like a normal teenager that's going to give you lip, and you couldn't handle it, so you threw all of his shit away, and then something happened because you got fucking off. You just went off and lost your shit. You two need to talk. You two, Katie and Chris, especially Katie, you need to speak. Why is Chris your fucking voice? Chris was supposedly not there. So how in the hell do you think that he is the best one to speak for your son? I am so fucking frustrated with this. And it doesn't make sense. Forget all the drama on YouTube. Don't watch it. Go on national television with people like Vinnie Politan and Nancy Grace and, you know, all of the various characters on Law and Crime. They will fucking invite you anytime you want to go. And I know you've turned down interviews where they've asked you to go. Why are you not doing that? Why are you so concerned about your public perception on fucking YouTube and social media? Fuck social media. Fuck everybody. Find your son. Speak about your son. Keep your son's name out there. I don't believe that the police are telling you not to speak, and I sure as shit wouldn't follow that direction. Because if you don't speak, people forget. People don't know what he looks like. And that sure seems like the agenda here. Help us understand why. You are his voice. And you're not doing anything. I don't see you ever on any program speaking about Sebastian. And I don't hear you say his name very often. And was Chris there or wasn't he there? Everybody wants to rip apart Seth's time card. I think that came from a lawyer, an attorney, directly from his employer. So all of these stupid rumors about him, you know, not being at work and shit, like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, like, what else, what other kind of proof do you need if he's at work? How about we see your time card, Chris? You were supposedly there at what did that person say on Clueminati at 5 o'clock in the morning? You were there till like midnight and something, and he went to the bar, and then he came back the next morning, and you were still there or something? Like, none of it. Help me understand what that means. Because you're saying things that contradict the fact that you're saying that you were not there. Because you say things like, or Katie said that you told her to put the dogs up. But you've already told us that when you're home, the dogs go up. When you're not home, the dogs sleep with Katie. So why in the hell would you be telling Katie to put the dogs up if you're not with her? Why, Chris? Why, Katie? I'd like to see phone records. I would like to know if these 3-hour conversations are normal. A lot of us would like to know that. There's no shame in it. I've done that shit before with my husband. I don't like talking on the phone either, but, you know, when you're in love, you do things a little differently. And when you're apart. So there's no shade on that, but I want to see if that's a normal behavior. Because both of you supposedly had to get up early the next morning. So why would you be watching TV, doing homework, talking to your husband? Like, how are you doing this? I could not be on the phone with my husband and doing homework. I can't even watch TV while I do homework. I need to focus. Plus, having a child that is in the next room that you are the sole responsibility for, and you immediately drive home that he walked out the door. That is the narrative. But there is no evidence that he would have walked out the door. And Steve says in this interview that, you know, maybe he didn't take his shoes because he didn't want to make noise. Give me a fucking break. It's cold out. You would not even make it down your sidewalk or your lawn. Both would be very cold. I can't remember what the temperature was, but it was not warm. Plus, he doesn't like to get dirty, and he doesn't like insects. So if he was to walk out that front door, he would have had, Katie would have seen him or heard him, and he could have grabbed his shoes and put them on outside if he was worried about making noise. You're not going to make fucking noise by putting on your shoes right at the door and then walking out. So help me understand what that's all about. It sure seems to me like that became the narrative when Seth got there and noticed that all of his shoes were there. And then it was, oh, he left out the front door without shoes. If this child left on his own or even went to meet somebody, there would be evidence that he did that. The fact that there is no evidence that he left on his own accord is in fact evidence that he did not leave on his own accord. That is a fact. And I don't know why law enforcement is not acting on that. And I don't understand these creators that are supporting this and not asking them and asking Katie, who is the only person that supposedly was there that night. So we have to figure out, were you there, Chris, or were you not there? Because you say things that lead us to believe that you were there, and there are people that claim that you were there that weekend, and you claim that you were not. But then you say things that make us, like putting the dogs up, or we would have heard him go out the door. Really? You know if the lights were on or not outside? I mean, all of this is information that should be coming from the person that was in the house with him. And it should have happened immediately. When I see parents on news when their child is missing, yeah, it's hard. I mean, they're in shock. It's not about you. It's not about how the world perceives you. You need to plead with the world to help you. That is the point. And nothing else should matter. Nothing comes before your child and his safety. And I don't see anything that you are doing except the fact that you went and delivered some flyers and oh, you were nice to some people. And there are some people that are supporting you and not asking you these questions. It doesn't make sense. Let's see your time card, Chris. I want to see your time card. Were you there? Were you at work or were you not at work? I want to know what those lights were happening in the backyard and all the way down to the corner where you're telling us that the dog tracked Sebastian. Which is very odd that it's the same exact path where the lights were. Which in my mind tells me that when you came up with that story, you knew that that video was out. You saw it. You thought that it was fucking garbage trucks? I mean, come on. You're insulting our intelligence. This is ridiculous. And I know the garbage trucks came later. So, you know, again, it's you and your manipulation and parsing your words. There's no need for that when you are talking truth. If you are specifically leaving out information, omitting information when you're answering a question, or twisting it to sound a certain way, Chris, that is a lie. And you can fucking argue that it's not all you want till you're blue in the face. Look up the definition of a lie. You have no need to play word games, to worry about what other people think about you, to be speaking for Katie. Katie, you do not need protection from your husband. Your husband does not need to provide you protection. Help me understand that. You are a military person and you're fucking scared to talk about your own child? Help me understand that. That is evidence of fucking knowledge to me. You're not looking, you're not talking, you're not pleading with the society in which you live and the community in which you live. This makes absolutely no sense to me. Why is your child not your first priority? Why are certain people creating drama and throwing shade at Seth? I understand Seth is doing strange things. He is surrounding himself with strange people. There are some really strange things happening. But I believe that he is literally following up with what he said about he will dance with the devil to find his son. He does not give a shit what other people say about him. He tells us to fuck off if we don't like it, and that's exactly what I would do. And if you guys take offense to that, I find that ridiculous. This is a man missing his child. Whatever he's done in the past, whatever he's doing to find his child, he is looking for his child, and he will do anything, and he will cause chaos, and he will do shit so that people don't forget that we are looking for Sebastian. So say what you want about him. He doesn't give a fuck. And that's a parent looking for his child. You want to drag him through the mud because of choices that he's making to find his child? He's looking for his child. What are Katie and Chris doing to find Sebastian? Tell me. People that support them, tell me what they're doing. Tell me what they have done since day one to find their child. As far as I understand, they did not go looking through their own neighborhood. They did not go knocking on neighbors' doors. There was one neighbor that drove by that saw police with Katie, and Katie gave him the story about whatever that he left, and this person was like, what in the hell is going on? That's the only neighbor that I think that anybody talked to that we know of. I mean, why are you not freaking out? Why are you not pleading for anybody that might have him, or, you know, talking directly to him? The one time you did that, the reporter, and reporters need to stop doing this. You need to stop interrupting people when they're talking, and you need to stop asking them leading questions like, what would you say to Sebastian? That did not come from her heart. That did not come from his heart. They were not thinking about that. And the only conclusion that I can come to when that happens is that they know what happened, and they know that he's not out there, and they know he's not going to hear it. Because if they truly thought that he walked out that door and he was out there in danger, I don't give a shit who you are, especially military people, would be out there, boots on the ground, searching, like pleading for help, going on every news station that they possibly can to get the word out, doing everything in their power. Why did you two not do that? Help me understand that. Why? And I don't know what this whole crazy Dog the Bounty Hunter and Nick the Hat and all this. I mean, to me, they have connections. So I'm hoping that there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. But, I mean, their main goal, I think, is what Katie is not doing, and just getting information, like just talking about him, keeping him in the news, keeping the awareness alive. That is probably their main focus as far as Nick the Hat and his sidekick there. That's pretty funny. I enjoy their ridiculousness. And I personally believe that they're on the right track. I think that Katie is the one person that claims to be the only person that was with him that night. I think she has some fucking explanations to do. Now, talking to the police, when the police say, the one last press conference that they did, they said the mom and the stepdad were cooperating in the beginning. She specifically said that. So what changed? I think that they stopped talking, because you can cooperate with the police by going in when they ask you to go in and having a lawyer there and pleading the fifth. You're not going to talk. That's still cooperating, because you have a Fifth Amendment right in the Constitution of the United States of America. So they can't say that they're not cooperating, because they did what they asked them to do. They went into the police station and they used their right to have a lawyer, and they used their right to plead the fifth and not speak. So stop saying that they're cooperating, because I don't see anything happening where they're actually cooperating. I don't see press conferences. If I was the mother of Sebastian, I would be banging on those doors. I would be demanding some press conferences, if for nothing else, just to say his name. None of that is happening by anybody except Seth. And I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about anything that he's doing or any of the people he's surrounding himself by. I get it. There's a lot of chaos. But he is a father grieving and doing whatever the hell he can. That's my opinion. I would be doing the same shit. I don't know if I'd be surrounding myself with the people that he chose to, but I wouldn't give a shit who volunteered to help me. They would be my sidekicks, all of them. And we would be fucking trying to find the truth. Because I think that there are at least 3 people that know the truth. At least. I think there's actually more. And they're not talking. They're not talking to the police, in my opinion, because when they say they were cooperating in the beginning, to me that's a signal that something changed. And technically, they probably were, based on what I just said, still cooperating based on their Fifth Amendment right. But I think that was a way to let us know that they stopped talking. So, I don't know. Everybody is chaotic and ridiculous, and I'm not a social media person, so I know a lot of people do shit for drama and clicks and views and whatever, and they're trying to make money off this shit and bitch about how other people are handling it, looking into other people's pasts and shit. Whatever. What are you doing to find Sebastian? Why do you give a shit about what anybody else says? There are people that are putting up billboards. Let them put up their billboards. Why does that need to be a fucking argument? They're raising money to put up billboards. They're raising money to put up the flip boards or whatever. I briefly heard somebody giving elevated truth shit about his financial shit where he got donate. He fucking had a donation for, I think it's called a flip board, on his stream where he donated to that thing. He didn't get paid yet. So whatever, I didn't really follow it because it was a bunch of bitching and drama that I don't like to get involved in because it's not about Sebastian. I mean, that shit, whatever. He didn't have to donate anything. He did that specifically for Sebastian. And based on the little bit that I watched, he did provide receipts. And somebody was giving him shit because maybe he said something incorrectly or they took it incorrectly. People misspeak all the time. And it happens with my husband and I all the time where he'll say something and I'll be like, what? Because I take it a certain way. And then we discuss it and I tell him, is this what you're saying? And he's like, no. And he rewords it. People communicate differently. Stop fucking giving creators shit for doing things to help. You know, this whole thing with Terry Lynn, I don't really know what's going on. Again, I don't follow that shit because I don't like drama like that. That's like fucking soap opera teenager bullshit in my opinion, and I don't know why adult people do that. It's disgusting to me. I don't understand it. Like, that's their whole content, is to rip down other people and find out their dirt and expose it. Like, why? Why? Do you want somebody doing that to you? I mean, anything, you know, we all have pasts, and you can make something look really shady that isn't really shady, which seems to be, and again, I only watched or listened to it for like 5 minutes, but that seems to be what people were giving shit to about elevated truth. Like, it was potentially a miscommunication. Either one person heard it wrong, or he said it in men and women communicate differently. We should all know that. There are certain ways that men say shit, besides the fact that the man was taking donations for these flipboards. He didn't have to donate a penny of that. His people paid that, and it sure seems to me like both he and Cluminati show receipts for their shit, so I don't really understand why people have to fucking make a big deal about that, because they're donating money. Their own money. I mean, that's their money that they would likely get even if they weren't doing a donation that night. So stop all the bullshit and focus on the investigation. And the investigation is, supposedly, this is the storyline that I know so far based on all of the people that I've listened to and investigators, that Sebastian and Katie, I mean, she talks about the whole day. She never mentions any time about anything until I think it's 9 o'clock. She specifically says, 9 o'clock, I told him to go to bed. He said, I love you, Mom, love you, puppies, and went to bed. That's the only actual time that she gave. And according to linguistic people, I think that that's a clue. She's not giving us time for all the shit. Plus, everything that she told us that they did that day, tell me if I'm wrong, folks, I think that that's sensory overload for autistic folks. That was a lot of shit in one day. And it seems odd. Is that normal, Katie? Do you normally spend the entire day out and about? I mean, that is a lot for me. I think that would be a lot for him. The public hasn't seen any evidence. I don't understand why police do this. I mean, I understand that they have to keep some shit close to the vest. But if we have nothing to work with, besides the little bits and pieces that we're getting from the early interviews and trying to make sense of it, that's it. Like, this is a time when police, in my very strong opinion, need to give the public something to help us help you. We want to help. So put your egos aside. Don't make it a measuring contest. You know what I mean? Swinging it around. I believe that the cold case unit has offered to help, and according to one of the people that is in that unit, said that it was denied. So, and I think Seth and potentially Dog both said that as well. Again, allegedly, I don't remember exactly, but it seems to be that they don't want help from people that could actually help them, that have fresh eyes, that are very good at what they do. Why would you turn help away? Why would you not share information with credible people like Dog and the people that he works with? Why are you not working with him? He wants to help you find your frickin' son. It's fucking bullshit. Alright, so I don't have all the fancy shit for YouTube right now, so I'm going to just play a little bit of this on my TV and discuss what is said here.
Listen, I can still investigate it right from the outside, you know, for my own opinions. And I've met with him, and I've been to the house, and I've seen his room, and I've seen other evidence that people probably haven't seen. And there's nothing. It's just like TBI and Suffolk County say there's no evidence pointing out foul play, you know. And
again, the fact that there is no evidence and the fact that there is nothing missing is evidence of foul play. And Steve knows that. He's an investigator. This is a child. Again, not a criminal mastermind.
For these accusations to be going around, I mean, it's hard for, you know, those parents to have to listen to that over and over and over.
They don't have to listen to anything. That's their choice. There isn't things on mainstream media. Well, Dog, I guess, but they have a choice of watching social media. If people are saying shit about anybody, who the fuck cares? It's social media. That's my very strong opinion. People need to stop worrying about what other people think about and stand in your truth and stand your opinion, stand in your power. You know, we're all put on this earth to love each other and help each other. That is the meaning of life, is love. So all this hate and fucking digging and finding dirt on people is disgusting. There's no point in it. The people that are doing those things are creating a world for our younger generations and us when we're senior citizens to be in an utter chaos of, like, we're going to have, like, homeland terrorism if this keeps escalating at the point it's been escalating. I mean, people are going to just turn on each other. It's at that point already on social media because people think that they can be fucking protected, which I also think that laws need to come into play with that, which is interesting with Bullhorn Betty. We're going to see where that goes. But in my opinion, I don't understand why she is getting the shit that she's getting and Turtle Boy is free and journaling, and not journaling. He's getting information from the defense, straight from the defense, which is illegal, and then he's putting it out there as truth. It's bullshit. He's not investigating anything, and he's harassing state witnesses, and he has ruined people's lives. So why is he not in prison? We need to get some federal laws in place about how people interact on social media, and we need to figure out how that can be enforced. And what in the hell YouTube is with not being able to say fuck, not being able to say our favorite cussy words, not being able to say things like, you know, the R word and the M word. Like, why is that? I mean, this is reality. It's so ridiculous that we think that we should not talk about that, like you're talking in code to protect children. Is that the whole idea? I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. We have the ability to put adult content on anything that we stream. So parents can, you know, that's up to the parents to how that they can restrain their children from, you know, having parental locks and things like that. I don't know how that works because I don't believe in censoring shit, because I think that children need to be aware, and especially when they're becoming teenagers. They're not stupid. and I mean, YouTube is acting like we're a criminal organization or something, and we're not allowed to say words because it's bad. Like, what? It doesn't make sense to me. And anybody that you think you're protecting by using these stupid codes, like we think we're mafia and people aren't going to figure out what we're talking about when we say the M word or the R word or we say rugs. Like, I mean, come on. This whole censoring bullshit is ridiculous. YouTube and whatever needs to stop that shit and let people speak their mind, because this is becoming a problem where people are not allowed to speak their mind, and it's pissing them off. And I know that firsthand very well. And people need to be held accountable. There are lines. I'm asking questions and I'm saying what my opinions are, and nobody needs to listen to this if they don't want to. I believe that the universe brings things to people that are meant for the people that hear them, see them, feel them, have them, be them. That's just how the universe works. I believe that very much. So whoever needs to hear this can hear this. And if parents are getting frustrated with social media bullshit, they don't have to listen to it. That is their choice. And if people are saying ridiculous things like Turtle Boy calling state's witnesses murderers over and over and over again with no evidence and creating riots, basically, it's very close to becoming riots, that's illegal. That is, in my opinion, RICO charges with all of the people that are involved, including the attorneys of the defense and the defendant herself, obviously, who's pulling all the strings. Her and Turtle Boy are they're doing it. Why are they not? I know, I'm sure charges are coming for Karen after her murder trial goes again, but I mean, it's just, that's a line. So why is he not being held accountable? And why is Bullhorn Betty having to go to court? Because I don't know. She's full of drama. She's very much an advocate, and I think we can all agree that we appreciate what she does as far as confronting people and getting the truth out. Obviously, she might take it a little too far, but here's another big question for the Proudfoots and the Bower Sox. Why do you take the time to press charges on a woman who is putting up flyers and, driving from Florida to Tennessee to help look for your son, but you don't like the fact that she drove by your house a lot, she's putting flyers up by your house, she's being obnoxious in that way, and, I saw the whole little clip where she was parked. I don't know if she was following Terry, I've heard that from some people, but it sure seemed to me that she was parked and talking on her live, and he came up and then she followed him. Obviously that was a little bit crazy, but why are there protection orders being put on Chris and Katie? I don't understand that. And the Bower Sox. I mean, Terry played a role in that as well, so let's be real, okay? She's gonna stand up for herself, but she's not gonna fucking throw down and shit. I mean, come on. Again, we're adults. Why are you taking the time to press charge? Go to the police station, write up your incident report about your perspective of what happened, which please tell us, because I don't know. According to Betty, which I don't know why she'd lie about this, because she's literally having to go to court over it. So the truth will be found out if this is not the truth. But according to her, she never met you. She never spoke to you. She never came into your presence at any time other than the courtroom, and she was in your neighborhood, and you're putting protection order on her, but you don't plead for your son to come home. Help me understand that. You're taking the time, 4 of you, to go to the police station, write out reports, press charges, go to court, sit there in court, go home, then wait a few weeks, go back, and then again it gets delayed, and then you go home. I mean, you're doing a hell of a lot to press. What do you think she's gonna do to you? You both are military. You can watch her shit. She is crazy, but she's an advocate and she's not doing anything illegal. So I would really like to know what in the hell this is all about and why Tennessee is doing this to her, the advocate, who, yeah, she's bold and what's the word I want to say? Brashy? Is that the word? Brash? But she's looking for your son. Like, make that make sense. That you are pressing charges on a woman looking for your son, but you're not going to the police station and getting updates on your son. You're not going to the news and pleading for your son. You're not doing anything to keep your son's name out there except, what, delivering some flyers to people? Did you go put up flyers with them? And why did you look so different in court? Both of you looked very different. And Katie, you looked calm as hell. Chris looked pissed off. But Katie, you are like in your zen. I don't understand it. I don't understand why people don't find this odd from a mother with a missing child with this behavior. I think it's disgusting.
It seems like in this specific case with Sebastian, you have I personally don't feel like at least the Proudfoots have put this narrative of accusing one parent or anything like that. They haven't, other than the interviews that they've done, but I haven't really seen that agenda be pushed as much as.
When they were asked, and I did start talking to Chris several months ago. So I've been talking to him for a while, and because there was a group that was interested in possibly retaining me on their behalf. I didn't want to do that because Chloe was still an investigator on the case at the time, and so I have had conversations, with him. So I kind of know what's going on, but they've never accused anybody. However, what they've done is they've done exactly what TBI and Civil County asked them to do, which was talk to the media more than you have to, and just keep it to certain facts. And
okay, I want to understand that. SF, please help me understand that. Why in the fuck would the police tell the mother of a missing child to not talk to the media? I can understand saying social media because a lot of crazy chaos happens on social media, but why in the hell would anybody, and why do you find that okay that she's not talking on the news about her son? I don't believe that for a half a fucking second. And if they told them to do that, then there's some dirty shit going down. I mean, it seems like there is some crazy shit going down anyways. So help me understand this. I have never heard of police telling people to not talk on the media and to not talk about certain facts. I get it that there are some facts that have to stay close to the vest, but like when they went on Nancy Grace and she asked him about a vehicle that Katie had for her work, and Chris is like, we can't talk about that. We don't have permission. It's in your fucking driveway. People can fucking see what it is. So I don't understand that. There's so many questions. The whole, I took a lie detector test. Oh no, I didn't say who did it. I talked about that earlier. Again, parsing your words. And then Nancy says, you want to take one? You say, name the time. And then you don't show up. And you say, TBI told you not to take one? Again, TBI. Steve Fisher, do you think that's true? Does that make sense that the police would tell the stepfather of a child that's missing to not take a lie detector test? Really? And that TBI was going to give him one? So did he take it? Because I haven't heard results. I haven't heard a press conference about fucking jack shit. So, Steve, if you're there investigating, maybe you should do a press conference on a news station rather than social media. I think that this chick is cool. This is Down the Rabbit Hole News. I just found her. I like her. I think she's a cool chick, but I don't really I just found her, so like I can't say that. I don't agree with the position of these two on this. She feels very strongly that, the Proudfoots shouldn't be a focus. How can they not be the focus? This is where the child was, and then he was gone. He did not disintegrate into thin air. So yes, they need to be focused on. They need to talk to the media. They need to actually speak to the police and not lawyer up and plead the fifth. If they are innocent of shit, then they should have no problem speaking truth. They should have no parsing of words ever. They should be talking to the media at every chance they get and giving any kind of information that they can give about Sebastian, about his likes, about his dislikes, about where he might go, about what. You should be giving all of that kind of information. But you're not. And Steve Fisher, I am calling you out because I don't believe for a second that you think that that's the right thing to do. So correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment. Let's speak. Because I think that's fucking bullshit.
And lay low, don't get involved in drama. And so what they had to do is they take these shots, you know, from the other side. And I guess when they don't retaliate, people say, well, that's a sign of guilt. And then when it finally does bubble up and Chris retaliates, like on web sleuths where he doesn't retaliate, he just gave his side of the story. Then he gets accused of, oh, look, he must be guilty because he's, you know, fighting back. I mean, it just can't.
No, see, again, Steve, why are you carrying water for these people? This is ridiculous. This is the same shit I see with Karen Reed's situation. Why do people carry water for people like this? Are they telling you truths? Do you ask them point blank questions? Because Down the Rabbit Hole asked you some questions about, I can't remember what she asked you, and you said I didn't ask him about, the child, the CPS reports, Child Protection Services. I don't know what they're called in Tennessee, but she asked you that, and you said you didn't ask him. That's none of your business. I'm sorry. If you're investigating a missing child and a step-parent who lives with him has a CPS report on him that has been alluded to that potentially he was not supposed to be in that house and he was going to file for divorce. But that's not an important question for you to ask when you drive there to investigate. And I know you're not officially investigating it, but why in the hell did you go there? You went there to investigate for your own damn self. Yeah, you're going to stay out of the way of everybody. But if they're opening the door for you and you're investigating, why are you not asking them crystal clear questions, Christopher? That's for you. This shit should be crystal clear, and they should not be parsing words and omitting things on purpose, because again, that's lies. And the fact that you're not asking them shit like that makes me wonder, why are you there?
And win, you know. But you know, he's a guy defending himself, his wife.
Right.
He's a guy that has people driving by his house constantly.
Defending his wife. Again, I just ranted about that. Katie spoke. What did we see her? We saw her with her hands on the first one on YouTube. We saw her and Chris where, you know, the second one was again on YouTube, and it was this really strange reaction from Katie that I need to do a short about and slow it down so y'all can see it, because the reporter asked her a very pointed question, and she looked at Chris and she like smiled, and then it turned into like she covered her face, and it was like very nervous. I think it was a smile of nervousness that turned into crying. It was a very guilty fucking look to me, and that reporter should have fucking pushed on whatever that point was. I can't even remember, but it was an important point, and I wish I could pause this and find it, but I'll do a short on that because it's fucking scary. And reporters, y'all need to get in touch. Anybody that's a reporter, y'all need to get in touch, even on YouTube. The folks on the behavior panel, they have created a, like, I don't know what you would call it, basically a cheat sheet on how to handle interviews that will help the police. You don't interrupt them. If they're talking, you don't interrupt them. Never interrupt them. You do not ask leading questions. You do not ask them things like, what would you say to your child? Because they need to volunteer that. If they're concerned and they honestly think that their child is out there, then they need to be asking that question on their own. reporters, you need to stop asking them that question, because if they don't fucking do that on their own, if they don't talk about their child with their first name and or nickname or whatever they call them, and they talk about how much they love them and they talk to them on the media, that's a fucking red flag. And the police, the LE departments in this country need to take this seriously. There are too many children that are in danger. There are underpaid, understaffed CPS that are not equipped to handle all of the things that come to them. And a lot of kids are left in situations that are dangerous and they're not looked out for because the government doesn't give the CPS people enough money and enough staff to do their job efficiently. Same with teachers, same with law enforcement. I mean, our country, our government needs to take a hard look at what is happening in our country, because it is becoming a divide. People are not being held accountable. Again, I'm going to bring up Elijah View, who was just found, thank God, at least. The people that were his caregivers, his mother and his mother's boyfriend or whatever he was, were in jail before they found Elijah. So make that make sense, Tennessee. Why are you not holding the people accountable that were there? Why are you not demanding that you have actual proof that certain people were there or weren't there? What is this video evidence? Is this real? Is the audio evidence real? You know, there are things that are leaked that I know firsthand from following the Karen Read case. People on YouTube are fucking assholes. There's so many corrupt YouTubers. For every one YouTuber that actually gives a shit and speaks their mind truthfully and tries to parse through the information that people are putting out to find the actual truth, there are about 10,000 bullshit creators who literally just do this drama shit and create rumors and make shit up and twist evidence to make it look a certain way. That's exactly what happened with the Karen Read case, and everything got completely twisted. And then when they went to court and went to trial, all this shit is completely being debunked, but the people that support her are fucking still talking about shit like the 227. I mean, that was completely debunked in the trial, in a court of law. It is factually untrue that Jen McCabe texted or Googled at 227. The text stream information from Karen's vehicle. They don't believe that. Like, apparently they just, anything that becomes false in their mind, they had a year and a half to get trained to understand the evidence in a certain way, and by the time they got to trial, they are like mob-like thinking, cult thinking, and they don't believe truth right in front of their eyes, or, which this is a lot of the big creators that are making all the big bucks. I think Turtle Boy makes like 40 grand or 50 grand a month at least, is what I've heard. And that man's going to prison. He is being held accountable. I don't understand why Massachusetts has not put him in jail. It's bullshit. That man should not be allowed around anything that has to do with Karen Read. They have told, down here in Tennessee, they told Bullhorn Betty she can't talk about these people. Apparently she can't even say their names on her YouTube channel. She is fucking investigating and trying to find a child, but the court of law told her that she is not allowed to say the names of the parents, step-parent, and child on her stream when she's investigating. Like, what in the actual hell? But then you have fucking Turtle Boy up in Massachusetts getting fed information, literally straight from the defense, where he's spouting out all these fucking twisted facts that are complete lies, and creating this cult-like atmosphere, and booing his John O'Keefe's parents and friends and family, and calling them murderers, and just completely disgusting behavior. Yet he's allowed in the courtroom, except for a couple of the witnesses that he is directly calling murderers. He is literally getting fed false information from Karen Reed and her lawyers and putting it out as truth. And then the lawyers go into the courtroom and tell the judge that they heard this from a journalist. That's bullshit. And they know it, and it's illegal. And both of those fucking lawyers, if not all three of them, along with Karen and along with Turtle Boy and along with Brian at LTL and along with Mike Crawford and along with at the Young Jerks and along with, oh my God, there's so many of them. I'm going to miss some. Going through the motions. Oh my God, this DEA agent is corrupt. Melanie Little. These people come out and talk about how they're lawyers and investigators and, ex-DEA, ex-police officers. There's now these Vegas fucking people that the Young Jerks had on. They're ex-police officers from Vegas. I mean, literally, they know that they're spreading false information, and they are making thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. And Karen Reed herself is making thousands and thousands and thousands upon dollars from these bullshit fucking things that are happening, and nobody's in jail. I mean, they're just letting, I know the legal system is slow, but Bullhorn Betty has had like at least 2 court dates already, and I think she has another one coming up. And Turtle Boy has been doing this for 2 years straight, and nobody's being held accountable. He's still doing it. He's literally still doing it. Bullhorn Betty is not straight out calling anybody murderers or accusing anybody. She is basically doing what I did and asking questions and saying, this doesn't make fucking sense. Help me understand this. And yeah, she drove down there to put up flyers and probably put a little pressure on them, because that's her way of doing what she does, and she's done it for years. And yeah, she can get a little crazy, but she wants truth. And if she was harassing me only because she wanted answers and my child was missing, I would not find that, I might be like, Betty, we gotta fucking sleep, so that's cool. Can we talk in the morning or something? But I would not fucking she's not doing anything to these people. She's never even met them in person. The fucking mother and stepfather of Sebastian Rogers have not gone to one vigil. Not one. The community that they live in held a vigil, and they had this scheduled in their neighborhood specifically so Katie and Chris didn't have to go far. And they put it on the Facebook group that Chris and Katie were in, that this was happening, and they did not show up. And, they were confronted about that on some YouTube channel and basically just said they didn't even know it was happening. Bullshit. I mean, it's bullshit. They haven't went to one vigil. They were at a Harley store one day, and this has been verified by a very credible source, that they were at this Harley store during a vigil. I think this was after Chris went and confronted Seth, literally at the vigil. Chris went to the vigil to bitch at Seth. I don't remember what it was about, but they fucking had it out, and I think that's when Seth told everybody to fuck off, which I don't blame him. I'd do the same thing. Like, I'm trying to have a vigil for my lost son, and his stepfather, who was responsible for him, is coming here and being a dick to me and throwing his weight around. And then he and the mother of the child are going to a Harley store to look at bikes. They don't go to the vigil. The stepfather goes and fucking gets into it with Seth. Seth fucking reacts. That's when the whole fucking social media started to turn against him, because he said, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. And I think that any parent that loves their child would say that. So if you are offended by that, I think you need to put your big girl panties on or your big boy panties on and fucking deal with it, because this man is looking for his child. And he's allowed to have fucking breakdowns and swear and cry and say things like his fucking mother was responsible for him. He's allowed to be pissed off about that. She was the one that he was in the care of when he went missing, and she is not fucking talking. That is fucking suspicious. I believe that would be called a clue as a detective. I don't know why these people are not being held accountable. And then they went to this Harley store. Somebody asked him about it. They said that they went there because they were going to get a bike rally for Sebastian. Somebody went after there to ask the people that worked there. They did not even know that Sebastian was missing. They didn't get any flyers hung up. They did not coordinate any kind of bike rally. They straight up lied again to the community that is trying to help them find their son. And it sure as shit feels like they're not trying to find their son. So why do we care? We have never even met Sebastian. Why do people from all over the world seem to care about your child more than you do? Katie, I am talking to you. You need to be your son's voice. You can tell me to fuck off. You can tell anybody to fuck off. But you need to fucking get on the news and you need to talk about your son. And you need to fucking answer Nancy Grace's questions. And you need to go there clear-minded and not on fucking Xanax or drunk. And you need to fucking pass a lie detector test. Because according to another credible source, you did not pass. You went in Xanaxed out and with fucking inconclusive results. So, you know, once again, lie. Why are we finding all these lies? Why are you two not providing proof that you were looking for your son? I mean, there should be cameras around that morning. Doesn't seem... Why were you gone for 45 minutes? You said you went to the school? So you think Sebastian walked to the school with no shoes before 6 o'clock in the morning? That's what you fucking honestly thought that he did? I mean, come on. And then you get back and it takes you over a week to fucking talk to anybody on any kind of media, and you won't even show your face. You won't answer questions that are pointed. You won't be honest. Chris is talking for you, and Chris is a fucking liar, a proven liar. I don't understand why people feel like what they're doing is okay. They should just lay low, not look. It's okay that they leave their house for 2 weeks. It's okay that they go on vacation. It's okay that they're not looking for their son. It's okay that Katie goes with her husband when the whole world is looking for her son except her. It's okay that they won't talk about if they have video cameras in their home or on the outside of their home. Why would they not fucking tell us if they had actual fucking cameras? You want to know why I think? And you want to know what I think they were looking for in the landfill? Fucking video cameras. I think that they had video cameras because that's what Katie does for a living. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They had cameras. And if they didn't, then that's even more fucking crazy. I know in my soul that those had cameras. And we don't know, we don't have any footage. If Sebastian walked out the door, there should be proof, positive evidence from your surveillance cameras that he walked out the door. So where is that evidence, Katie? Why are you so committed to the fact that he walked out the front door? Why was that your immediate response the first time that you talked about him? Why did a journalist have to ask you if you wanted to talk to your son, what would you say to him? Why did you not volunteer that information? Why are you not pleading to the public? Why are you not talking passionately like I am right now and not giving a fuck what anybody thinks? Because it's your son that's missing and you need help to find him. And you're going to tell us what he likes, what he doesn't like, where he likes to go, what he might do, if he has like certain areas in the woods that he likes, if he likes to go explore in caves. According to everything I've heard, this child does not really like being outside. According to what I've heard, neighbors didn't even know that Sebastian lived there. There is very strong evidence that Chris is very abusive, verbally and likely physically, and that he has had problems with women his entire life. He has had problems with children his entire life. He seems to have traits of a narcissistic, sociopathic person. Very, very criminal-minded, very sneaky, very selfish, very sneaky. And it sure sounds like his parents are the same way, him and his mom and his stepdad. I mean, it sure sounds like they have a little bit of a criminal family there, which is pretty disgusting. And I don't know why people aren't calling them out. I mean, there are obviously a lot of rumors that they have connections with the police, which sure seems to be true. I mean, I haven't seen proof of that, but I also haven't seen the police come out with a press conference in the last 6 months to give us a fucking update to tell us what's going on. And those parents should be talking and giving them anything that they can that the public should know to help us help them. And they're not doing that. And the law is not keeping them accountable. And the law is more fucking worried about people that might be a little bit too brash for them, looking for a lost child. And they're gonna fucking press charges on a person looking for a lost child, but they're not gonna fucking hold the parents accountable. Let me understand that. I am so sick of corruption in government. It is out of fucking control. We need honest LE. And you know what? A lot of the good LE are getting fucking, you know, for example, again, in the Karen Reed case, they're losing a lot of good officers because they have been wrongly accused of shit. Civil rights have been broken, and they're good police. And now they're not going to be able to be good police. And you know what happens when we don't have good police? Then the corruption just spreads, and it's all through the entire department. It's and nobody speaks up about it. And then things like Sandra Birchmore come up. And then, you know, the FBI fucking arrests one officer, and likely at least two more are going to probably get arrested and face death penalty. I mean, the one will, for sure. It's like, these are supposed to be people that protect and serve, but people like Turtle Boy and Karen Reed, who are complete criminal-minded assholes, are going to throw good cops and good people under the bus and make them lose their college career, their football career, their businesses get fucking shit on. They are, like, just, they're just being blamed for so much shit that is not corrupt. They were doing their job. The whole fucking, I gotta talk about this text thing with Karen Reed's case when Proctor, that whole thing, I hope that Proctor presses charges on the FBI or the fucking Josh Levy, most likely, because that's a civil rights violation. What was the probable cause for you to go through his fucking personal phone? Go through his work phone. That's the one that you could have probable cause for. You do not have probable cause to go through a law enforcement's fucking personal phone and then give that to the defense. Because Proctor saw a message from Karen Reed, which is why he stopped looking through the phone when he saw communication between her to his lawyer. He saw what she said. And she told him, her lawyer, that she hit him in that text message. She tried to downplay it and say, I just tapped him and I didn't think I hurt him that bad. That's what Proctor saw. And he stopped. And he sent it over to the other team that goes through the phone and decides what, you know, the police can have. And then, after he saw that, he got fucking pissed. And he told his buddies, it's law enforcement. Anybody knows this. If you're on a fucking team, you're like best friends. Any law enforcement, if you're in law enforcement, you're going to have friends in law enforcement. And that is going to likely include your boss. So he just saw this and got pissed off and vented to his close friends and his wife, which really, I mean, come on. This fucking woman killed her fucking boyfriend and left him there to die in the cold by himself while she fucking took her drunk ass to his house and trespassed because he told her that she wasn't allowed there anymore. And then she started fucking building her alibi and trying to fix her fucking car and calling her fucking daddy and calling lawyers and trying to get her fucking shit straight while her boyfriend is lying, still alive, mind you, in the snow with a horrible, horrible head trauma while his friends are in the house waiting for him, assuming that he and Karen got in a fight, because that's a normal thing, and they went home because they saw Karen leave. And no, nobody saw it happen, and that's not that fucking crazy. I mean, they're in the house, they've been drinking. Yes, they're looking and watching, but they're not fucking staring out the window like they're watching a movie. And something like that, 62 feet going 24 miles an hour or whatever it was, 27, I can't remember, 62 feet, 24 miles an hour sounds right, backwards. You think that that's something that is really gonna fucking, like, that's a split second thing. Try it and see how long it takes. If you're not looking out the window at the exact time that happened, of course you're not gonna fucking see it. And unfortunately nobody did, and he lied dying in the snow because that narcissistic, psychopathic, abusive woman fucking hit him and left him to die in the cold. And he was a Chicago or a Boston police officer and a good man. And his parents lost their second adult child. Really kind of their third, because their daughter's husband also died and, you know, was likely very close to Mom and Dad O'Keefe. They had 3 children, and 2 of them were taken from them before they passed. And this never should have happened. And they have lost a good police officer. I believe that Proctor, I don't know Proctor, but based on all, I have done a lot of investigation on that. And the way that Turtle Boy and all these mob people treat him, because he called Karen a cunt, because he said shit like, she's not going to get away with this. He's a fucking police officer. He knows what happened. He just read it. But yet he's not allowed to take care of his own mental health and text his mom and his closest friends in the fucking department. That's fucking like something that now any fucking case that he works is under investigation because he called Karen Reed a cunt because fucking she admitted that she did that. She knows she's a cunt. This is not fucking news. That is a nice statement. I would have said worse. And I have said worse because I think she's very dangerous. And that bitch and that fucking defense team have completely destroyed that community. And they're not being held accountable. And they're continuing to do it. And it's disgusting. And Josh Levy, you need to be held accountable. And O'Keefe's, if you happen to hear this, if you need help, I don't live there, but I will do anything I can if I need to fucking write letters, call people, do some kind of, get somebody in the FBI involved or something to that effect. You know, I could probably do some things, but I know there are people working in the background of this, and I really am disgusted with Josh Levy and his humble brags now. Like he busted these police officers that were involved with Sandra Birchmore. No, he didn't. But when he holds the press conference, he does a humble brag and says, oh, I don't deserve the credit. This is not my credit. It goes to all of these fine police officers. They need to stop doing shit like that at fucking press conferences. It's so disgusting how much time that they spend humble bragging and thanking every single department and doing all this shit. Yeah, we know what cops do. We are happy and grateful for you. The fact that you take 20 minutes at every press conference to fucking rub each other's butt about what they do and make sure that they are, I mean, who does that with teachers? Who does that with counselors? Who does that with people that fucking, with CPS that work their ass off for the government? It's bullshit. And Josh Levy is taking credit for these things that are coming to light. But he is fucking responsible for what happened in the fucking John O'Keefe case. It's disgusting. And yet he's, what's happening? Like, people are calling him out. I'm calling him out. There are people that know this shit. I know that there are people working in the background on it, and it's fucking disgusting. If he didn't get involved, he fucking did the grand jury himself. They do not do that. That is not normal. And you know what he used to question them? Turtle Boy News. And again, like I said, the fucking shit that Turtle Boy was reporting was coming from directly from Karen Reed. She was pulling the strings on everything. If that's not RICO charges between her defense team and Turtle Boy and all of these other YouTube creators that are fucking doing this shit, and they know that they're spreading lies and it's disgusting and shameful and they need to be held accountable, and there needs to be some laws that hold them accountable, because as far as I'm concerned, this is fucking RICO charges. This is fucking like mafia shit. Like, this is a crime, an organized crime syndicate happening where Karen Reed and her defense team are talking about giving Turtle Boy false information, altering fucking autopsy photos that they are not even supposed to fucking have in public. And they fucking make huge chalks to hold up at everything that those assholes did, and all the pre-trial shit was all for fucking show. It was all to fucking get people, what's the word I'm looking for? It was all for people to buy into these lies, because they were spinning a story that looked good. But by the time it went to trial, people were literally, it was like indoctrinating them into a cult. And now they don't believe actual evidence that they saw right in front of their eyes. Like, they don't believe it, or they're completely corrupt and doing this with the organized crime syndicate within the Karen Reed trial, because that's what it is. And that's the kind of shit that needs to be held accountable. I'm so sick of seeing shit like that happen and people getting away with it and nobody holding them accountable. I feel like I'm in a fucking other dimension. When the Karen Reed trial was going on, I literally felt like I was in a psyop, because I am watching credible news stations talk about how Karen Reed is fucking likely innocent and like they can't prove second degree murder. That's bullshit. It's so simple when you look at the data. They have Karen Reed's phone, they have Karen Reed's car data, they have John O'Keefe's phone and his health app, and all of the data and all of the car text stream shit lines up perfectly and tells the story. And that, if that isn't second degree murder, then I don't know what is. That is second degree murder. That bitch intentionally hit her boyfriend. Whether she knew that she hit him hard or not, the fact that she left him there and then called him 56 times and told him what a piece of shit he was and that she hated him and that she was going to leave his kids alone and she was going to go home, and she wasn't even supposed to be out with them folks. John O'Keefe told her that they were done. That is what the kids testified to. And Sue O'Connell on that fucking whatever that is, Boston, whatever they had, that special news, Boston Confidential, she was fucking absolutely, I wanted to punch her in the Adam's apple. If that woman didn't know how biased she was, she needs to fucking have a little self-reflection. Because I know for a fact that she was talking with Turtle Boy and people in that group, and she was pushing that agenda. There were news stations that were pushing this agenda. I wrote emails to certain news stations. There was one time I got so fucking pissed off. I was watching, and there was this blonde chick. I don't know. I think she's an attorney, and they didn't have her name up on it, so I couldn't tell who she was. And she literally said on national television, on a credible news station, she fucking said that this was right after Paul O'Keefe had done his first interview, and that family has so much grace, you know. Of course Paul is gonna fucking be pissed. I would say so much worse shit to Turtle Boy. Apparently I don't know why he talks to that fucking man. I don't know what the deal is, but you know, they fucking put it out there like he is a pissed off asshole. He fucking has every right to be pissed off, and he's not an asshole. He loves his family, and he wants fucking justice for his brother. So whatever the family knows what happened, and the fact that people don't want to listen to it. Anyway, on this news channel, this fucking bitch says on national television that, you know, sometimes families, she didn't use the word brainwashed, but it basically meant like you know, they believe the DA and everything that the prosecution says. They feed them all this information, and you know, they just believe it, and so they don't really know. And so she was basically saying that the DA brainwashed the O'Keefe family, and they're buying into a story that isn't real. The story is that Karen Reed is a fucking abusive woman. She's probably has borderline personality. She cannot control her impulses. She has fits of anger. I'm sure she sees red. There are so many fucking examples of this. And the children that testified, again, Sue O'Connell, what she wrote was so biased about what the children testified. And then I read somebody else's, and it told the truth about how they talked about how the niece overheard John tell Karen, this relationship has run its course. I want you to leave. And Karen Reed would not leave. And then that whole day when they were, you know, when John O'Keefe passed away that night, they were fighting. And they showed all the texts of that. She was not invited out. And then she kept telling John that she was going to drink. And he was like, why do you feel like you have to announce that you're drinking? And somehow they connected. Okay. Then he's not happy, but he's not going to make a scene. Then he gets a ride over to, this is what I think probably happened. That he got a ride over to the Alberts, and he probably told her, I need you to leave, get your shit. I do not want you to be home when I get home. That's what I think probably happened. And she got fucking pissed off. She started to leave. She threw it in reverse. And this is fucking information from TechStream. And those ARCA guys are fucking corrupt also. And they need to be held accountable for that shit, because they know that they were not telling the whole truth. You are supposed to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. When that fucking asshole Dr. Wolf was directly asked, did you know that there was DNA on in the taillight housing? Did you know that that it was very, very dark there? Did you know that there was absolutely no DNA on John from the dog? Did you know that did you know anything about the TechStream data? Like, that's the big thing. That is what these ARCA guys do. That is their specialty. They did not get the TechStream data. They did not look at the car. They did not go recreate the scene. Go look at their website and look at what they're supposed to do. They didn't do anything, because Josh Levy fucking gave them the shit from Yannetti and Jackson and Karen and Little, and that's it. They wouldn't even, the Commonwealth found out about this, and they fucking contacted them and tried to give them their fucking, you know, facts and data, and they refused to take it. Josh Levy told them not to look at anything else other than what he gave them. How in the hell are you supposed to recreate a fucking woman having a fit of rage and backing up into her boyfriend and leaving him there to die when you don't have the car information? You don't know about the DNA that was on the car. You don't know about all the taillight pieces that were there. You don't know about his phone being under him. You don't know about glass being there. You don't know any of this fucking shit. And most importantly, you do not have the TechStream data, which is your specialty. You could probably pull shit off of that car that the police can't, because Trooper Paul, I think, just learned TechStream. So this is very new to him. I think he did a very good job. I think people need to stop being assholes. He was nervous. This is a big case. He knows that. He knows how important his testimony was. And Jackson was being a fucking dick, like he was being to everybody. He fucking was a dick to every single witness. And if I were on that jury, I would have stopped listening to that. I would have fucking hated that. So I don't know what the hell he thought that was going to prove by accusing everybody of being corrupt when there's like 70 people involved in this that have no connection to anything. And so that was bullshit anyway. And second degree murder, the third prong is that you do something that you know could cause great bodily injury or death. Now you tell me, you go out in a very safe environment, you know, if you have like an empty parking lot somewhere or a gravel road in the country, wherever you live, you put your car You start driving forward and then you slam it into reverse, hold the pedal down at 75%, drive 62 feet at 24 miles an hour or 27 miles per hour. I'm sorry, I might be a few miles off there. I can't remember. And see what you feel like. Do you think that that's fucking intentional? Do you think that that could cause great bodily injury and death if you hit somebody going 62 feet at 24 miles an hour? Do you think that that is second-degree murder? Because I do. And you know what else I think is second-degree murder? She left him there. She fucking left him there. She went to his house and started fucking figuring out how to cover her ass, because I think that she thought that the cops were going to show up that night, because she thought for sure somebody would find him there, and she thought she was going to get arrested for DWI, and she was calling her daddy. She's a 42-year-old woman calling I don't know how old her father is, 70 maybe, and she's calling him at 1:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the morning. That's fucking Clue. All of her fucking phone calls, people say that, you know, the fucking interview that they just did on 2020, where I'm so glad Matt Lauer, I think his name is, the interviewer, told Jackson, like, what was the deal with all, or something about, they brought up the phone calls, and Jackson was like, why would she call him 62 times and, you know, say mean things to him? And Matt Lauer said exactly what I've been saying for the last 6 months, is that she was clever. And that's exactly what she was doing. Plus, she was in a selfish rage. So you put those two things together where, you know, somebody would usually call for an alibi and say, honey, you know, I'm at your house. If you need me to come and get you, let me know. You know, that would be like a healthy person's reaction. But Karen is not a healthy mind. So she called him, and immediately, within 15 minutes of her leaving him, she tells him that his voicemail, that nobody knows where he is. Bitch, you dropped him off 15 minutes ago. If you don't know where that man is, then you need to fucking put yourself in check. That was fucking bullshit. Alan Jackson knows it. Yannetti knows it. Little knows it. Her father and mother and brother know it. And all of those people, the family, I don't know why they're not on the stand. They don't have fucking protection to not be on the stand. They know shit. They know that she is guilty of this. So I really hope that Lally puts her family on the stand. And Karen Reed, if you want to fucking go have a PR campaign, I think that you should go talk to Nancy Grace. I think you should do a lie detector test with Nancy Grace, or at least be interviewed by Nancy Grace. And then I think, if you're so innocent, you need to take the stand. Because that is what any innocent person would do if they had nothing to hide. If you know that you're clean, and you know that Lally doesn't have anything against you, not anything that's gonna, you know, I mean, that he could drag up shit that might be embarrassing, but as far as like proving that you're guilty of murder, then you need to take the stand. I don't give a shit about this whole, you have a Fifth Amendment right. If I were accused of murder that I didn't do, there is nobody in the world that would stop me from testifying. Because human beings need to hear from other human beings. That is the only way that they're going to know. And I'm telling you right now, people that still believe that she's innocent, I think are either brainwashed or they're on the payroll. And that looks a lot of different ways. It could be political favors. It could be, you know, for the YouTubers, they're just banking. Like I said, I've heard Turtle Boy makes $40,000, $50,000 a month. I mean, add that up to a year. Off of calling people murderers that were friends and loved ones. Even his mother and his brother. Calling his mother a cunt. Booing them when they go into court. And Aussie Insider, you're full of shit when you made your little plea to Emily Baker. There is fucking video evidence of people booing the family. Have you watched Turtle Boy? Have you watched what he says about the family on his station? Have you watched the way that the mob treats them? They just recently, you know, when the people came out to support the O'Keeffes, now they're going to put a spin on it, you know, and they're going to They're going to say, like, you know, they want justice for John O'Keefe, which is so fucking disgusting. Y'all need to keep his name out of your mouth. That is so disgusting, and it's wrong. There is no way in hell that you should be talking about John O'Keefe about anything. And any money that you have raised for Karen Read in her defense, I think that their family is going to be able to sue you for every fucking penny, including Turtle Boy. So you may be rich now, but you're going to be in prison, and you're going to fucking have some consequences. And I know that I am going to hold the government accountable to all of this, and I'm just one person. So I'm hoping that people see this and help me hold them accountable, because this is deep in Massachusetts, and there is a lot of corruption there, but there's a lot of corruption happening with Karen Read. There are people from other countries. Aussie Insider, there's people from Australia, you know, all over the country, different countries, like having standouts for a murderer who killed her boyfriend in cold blood and left him to die for 6 hours. She didn't call 911. She didn't call anybody that was in that house. She didn't go back to the house. She didn't stop and check and make sure that he was okay. She did nothing for 6 hours except fucking worry about Karen Read, and that is it. She is a disgusting, vile, guilty, narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic, I believe, borderline personality. I mean, there are some issues with her mental health. And she's dangerous because she doesn't give a shit about any of you that support her. It's a mask, and I cannot believe that people can't see through that. It's so disgusting. You have bought into this, and now it's your identity, and you can't admit to yourself that the truth, the veil is lifting, and you have to be honest with yourself, folks. She is a guilty, dangerous woman, and you need to stop feeding her money. You need to stop approving of creators calling friends and family of a fallen officer murderers. You need to stop approving of raising money for John O'Keefe's murder in his name. It's all disgusting, and it all needs to stop, and it all needs to fucking be accountable. And I hope that the federal government is working on laws that are going to be nationwide about the way that social media is working. And as far as straight up calling people murderers with no evidence and going to their sporting events, making threatening phone calls, calling work, calling jobs, calling wives, calling husbands, accusing people of having affairs, accusing people of being swingers, like everything, their whole everything. And I'm sure, you know, maybe there's 1% of truth, but it's probably twisted, but it's all bullshit. And that to me is legal. Like, you can't just go around calling people murderers. And a kind of person that would do that, I don't want in our society. And the kind of people that would support that and or look the other way because they think that somebody is innocent, so they're going to look the other way to disgusting, vile behavior, that needs to stop. You need to stop doing that. Because if somebody is doing that, you need to really reevaluate the person that you believe is innocent, because she is responsible for this. And the fact that she is not telling her followers, literally a cult, she and Turtle Boy are cult leaders, okay? So she's like not telling her followers not to talk about John's family in that way, not to boo them, not to say derogatory things about them, not to treat them like shit, and not to use John O'Keefe's name to raise money for her. She should say something to the effect of, I appreciate your help and I love your support and I thank you, but you need to stop treating John O'Keefe's family like this. If she wants to claim she's innocent, fine. I know she's guilty as fuck, and a lot of other people do too. It's so fucking obvious. But if she's gonna do this and say, I'm innocent and thank you for your support, the kind of person that does not tell her following that she needs to stop, that these people need to stop treating John O'Keefe's family and friends that way, it's disgusting. And all y'all that are participating in it is disgusting.
Have to and just
Okay, so I just went on a total rant. I'm really new to this, so I don't know if people are still listening. This has gotten really long. But I came on to talk about Sebastian Rogers, but Karen Reed fucking pisses me off. So there's a few more minutes I want to get on this. I'm trying to get this to focus.
Keep it to certain facts and lay low. Don't get involved in drama. And so what they had to do is they take these shots, from the other side. And I guess when they don't retaliate, people say, well, that's a sign of guilt. And then when it finally does bubble up
and again, they retaliate plenty. And the fact that Chris is doing all of the talking and Katie doesn't fucking talk at all. The mother of the child that was with the child when he went missing, according to them, she's the only one and she is not speaking. And Chris is fucking vile and twist words and straight out lies. So I don't know what you're fucking thinking, Steve, but you are literally trying to help people that are shady as fuck. And I don't understand it because you're supposed to be a pretty good investigator from what I hear. This is bullshit. I would like to speak to you. Please, if you happen to hear this by any chance, leave me a comment. Anybody that's listening, I'm really new to this, so I don't know if people are even listening right now. But if you are and you appreciate what I'm saying, please like and subscribe because I'm a super small channel and I would like to, I just have so much to say. I see Jimbo told me to write a book. You are not the first person to tell me that. Trust me. I don't even know where to begin. Maybe you could help me find a path because there are so many things that have happened in my own life and things that I've seen and heard and been involved with and experienced, and now I got so tied up into these 3 cases, and I don't understand what's going on social media. I don't understand what's going on in the world. I literally think that people are being brainwashed. Like, this is a government thing that I feel like it's going to end up being a dictatorship in the United States of America, and people's rights are being taken away. I mean, women don't have control over their bodies. That is, who the fuck can tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do with their body? That's not a government thing. I don't know about killing people. I think that's kind of whatever. I don't know what I feel about that. I do feel like some people, but the fact is, if you get the death penalty, I mean, people usually pass away before they even get to the death penalty. It takes so many years to go through all the appeals and all the shit, and I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, if you are listening, please like and subscribe. I can't see my comments, but I will read them after I get done if anybody is listening. But anyway, back to Sebastian. I'm sorry I got sidetracked. Yeah, so I don't understand why Steve Fisher is fucking carrying water for these guys. It's really mind-blowing.
Chris retaliates like on web sleuths. He didn't retaliate. He just gave his side of the story.
He did not give his side of a story. If you're interested in the Sebastian Rogers case, Web Sleuths is literally probably the most professional creator on YouTube. She doesn't do any drama. She's actually an investigator. Steve Fisher is supposed to be a reputable investigator too, but there are certain things that have happened recently that makes me really wonder about his credibility, and this is really making me wonder about his credibility because I don't know why he is believing. He's not even asking questions to Katie and Chris, and he's an investigator. Like, I don't understand this, yet he's completely buying everything they say like he's trying to make a fucking buddy. I don't get it. It's disgusting to me. And no, he did not tell his side of the story. He literally blew up at Seth because Seth was talking about, I think he was trying to ask Chris if Katie went to meet his mom that morning because that was a rumor. That was a big rumor that everybody was hearing. And Chris had a fucking fit and made him stop talking and did not answer the question and told him that we can talk not on the internet. We can talk in private if you have that question. You know exactly where my mom was, blah, 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 all this shit. I personally think that they know. And they are, this is my opinion, they're involved. And I think that's pretty clear to anybody that has a clear mind. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me that people don't want to hold accountable the last person that was with Sebastian and the other person that is supposed to be his primary caregiver is his stepfather in that home, and everything that comes out of his mouth is usually a lie, or it's parsed in a certain way that he can defend that he's not lying, which he is lying, and Katie's not talking. How do you all not fucking find that fucked up? I don't get it.
He gets accused of, oh, look, must be guilty because he's, fighting back. I mean, it just can't win, But, he's a guy defending himself, his wife.
Right.
He's a guy that has people driving by his house constantly.
And again, he does not need to defend Katie. I don't understand why people think that she's such a weak, docile woman. She's a military person. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If she has to put up with Chris as a husband, she's probably very much like him. Okay? And what was the second thing he said? Let me see. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Just can't win, But, he's a guy defending himself, his wife.
The people driving by his house. They're looking for your fucking child. You should be out looking for your child. One of you, at least. One can stay home and sleep or be there, sitting on the couch hoping he walks through that door, and the other one should be out looking, and y'all should be taking turns. This is what should have been happening in the beginning. But no, you don't make any pleas to the public. It takes you a week to do anything, and you don't show your face, and you do it on YouTube. You don't do anything national news. It took you, I don't know how long to go on any kind of national news, and then you were all drugged up on Xanax, it sure looked like, or drunk or something, and reading a script. People that don't have anything to hide don't need to prepare a script. You don't need to keep facts straight so that your story makes sense, because it doesn't even make sense. You guys tried, but it doesn't make fucking sense. And the fact that people are driving by his house trying to figure out where their child is, yeah, there's a lot of people that think that you know more than you're telling us. They're not coming to your door and knocking on your door and doing crazy shit. They're not threatening you to do anything. Like, this is not something that you should be offended by. You should be grateful that you have people out looking for your son. And if you are innocent, then you should go talk to them like a human being calmly and say, I'm sorry that you don't believe me. I don't know where my son is. Please, I appreciate your help. What can I do to help you help find my son? But no, none of that's happening. You're getting pissed off that people are driving by your house and Chris has to speak for Katie and protect Katie. As far as I know, Chris was going to go file for divorce. So this is a very strange turn of events.
Right.
He's a guy that has people driving by his house constantly. Their whole life changed. But there's nothing that suggests.
Their whole life changed. Are you fucking serious? Like, this is the shit that makes me want to fucking write emails to people, because, yeah, if your child goes missing and he's been gone for 7 months, your life is going to fucking change. This is not a fucking pity party about their life. This is about their child. And yes, we can grieve with them, but we need their help to grieve with them. They need to participate in fucking anything so that we can fucking help them, but they're not. And the fact that you guys don't find that fucking shady as shit blows my mind.
They have anything to do with it. Anybody has anything to do with it. I think, 7+ months later, we would know from law enforcement.
No, we wouldn't. You know how long it took for the FBI investigation into the Sandra Birchmore case? That took a fucking long time. And nobody fucking knew. I mean, they knew that there are people that were on it. One woman in particular, I can't remember what her name is. She was on it, and it took a long time. They either started that investigation right before Karen Reed. I mean, it's been going on for like a year and a half. When they have to do deep investigations like that, the CIA needs to get involved because they need to do all the data, and that's what they're specializing in. I don't know what the FBI is doing, because if they're not fucking putting Katie and Chris in rooms and fucking questioning them like fucking they should be questioned, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, because I don't know why these two are roaming about, living their life, going to restaurants, going camping, not living at their house, not doing anything to look for their son. They're going to go look for their son 3 states away because that's where they want to go camping. Are they looking? The campground that Christopher was staying at had no idea that his son was missing. No idea. Another very awesome gentleman went and did his investigating there, and the people had no idea. They didn't have a flyer. They didn't even know that Chris had a missing son. They didn't know anything. And according to him, he had to go deal with his camper 2 days after Sebastian went missing. Why, Chris? Why did you paid for your lot by the month? So why did you need to go take your camper from that place? And where did you take it? Why was that so important the second day that Sebastian was missing? That doesn't make sense at all. Like, why are you not looking for Sebastian? Why are you not there supporting your wife? Why are you not there on the news? Why is going to get your camper the priority? Why do you feel like you need to go get your camper? Did you bring it home? Or did you bring it to that other campground that you claim to be at? Because we can't get any kind of confirmation that you were even there. And then they didn't know about Sebastian missing at that other campground that you claim to be at, that I don't know if anybody has found evidence of you actually being there. But again, you're gone for 17 hours. Like, what are you doing, Ellie? Why are you allowing him to leave? This should have been a parallel investigation. Fine, you're looking for a child that's a runaway. The other investigation needs to be digging into the last person that was with him and figuring out where the people that were most involved in his life, his mom, his dad, and his stepfather, and his stepfather's parents, and you need to be fucking grilling them separately, interviewing them, looking for evidence in the house, spraying luminol, doing actual detective work. So what the fuck did you do? I want to know. Because I think that the rest of the world knows that something happened. And I don't know why Steve is saying we would know 7 months in. They are still investigating. So to me, that means that they haven't given up. They just offered $50,000 for a reward. Why would they do that? Go check the FBI. They don't usually, I think they have a very minimum amount of people, and they typically don't have runaways. They do have some runaway or missing children, but I don't think that they have anybody on there that walked out of their house on their own accord. Okay, so again, I don't think the FBI is buying this bullshit that he walked out on his own, because they're not going to offer a $50,000 reward for a child that just walked out of his house, that there's no evidence of him anywhere. There's no scent of him. He doesn't have any fucking shoes on. It's cold out. I mean, what in the actual hell?
I think they would start hinting at a person of interest. If there was something there, they would start. Everybody thinks this $50,000 reward is some sort of pressure campaign. It's not. It's just a token gesture by the FBI, I believe. If it was a pressure campaign, they would start indicating that they have a person of interest, and even if they don't,
they would not be offering a reward. And Steve, seriously, I am not a private investigator, but I am in love with fucking investigating. I should be a private investigator, and I know that what you're saying, you don't even believe. You're not even looking. You're closing your eyes.
Gesture by the FBI, I believe. If it was a pressure campaign, they would start indicating that they have a person of interest, and even if they don't name it or not, that's how they would put pressure on the person. But they're not. They're saying we don't have anybody.
And again, as an investigator, Steve, you know that the FBI isn't going to be like, yeah, we're looking at the mom and dad, we're building a case against them, everything is kind of leading to them. They're going to fucking figure their shit out and make sure that they can get, if the FBI makes the arrest, that's a federal. I don't know if they're going to have federal charges. I would think that they would maybe only have state charges unless the child is out of state. Then that's crossing borders, and it would be federal. And federal has like a 97% success rate of when they indict somebody. They are not going to indict somebody on, just barely enough information to convince people. They're going to get enough to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So what you're saying, Steve, is bullshit, and you know it. Why are you saying that?
Again, there's not any actions going on that make it seem like there is. We're not hearing about search warrants being executed or anything.
So you got to meet with the parents, right?
Well, they had search warrants for 2 landfills. What does that tell you, Steve? Why would they get 2 search warrants for 2 separate landfills on the initial investigation? That's not a child walking out of a house, once again. You cannot believe what you're saying. You're not even looking into the camera.
Was there any indication to you that, oh, I'm so worried about, there might be more to this? What was your interaction with them?
Yeah, they truly don't know. They don't know what happened. I, you know, I asked them that, and they don't. They don't know what to think. They're as baffled as everybody else is. Well, more baffled. I mean, it's their own happening to their own kid. But
again, I would like the behavior panel to check his body language, because I don't know what's happening to you, Steve. I do not think that you even believe what you're saying right now. And I would like to have a conversation with you about what in the actual hell. You're going to drive down to Tennessee and do an investigation and just walk in a certain area that they claimed the dog went and jumped into the pond. They cleared all the water. I mean, what are you doing?
They welcomed me in the house. They said, nothing's off limits. Look wherever you want. Do it.
Yeah, it's 7 months in. I mean, I'm pretty sure if there was anything that they needed to take care of, I would like to know if they ever did luminol. Although I don't think that the way anything happened was going to cause anything like that. I personally think what happened would have been, I think it was violent. I think Sebastian was fighting. I think Christopher, from what I can see, it sure looks like he has bite marks on his arm, and there are photographs lined up with literally on Sebastian's teeth. Clutch Them Pearls has it on his. He's a great creator. He is in it for the right reasons. He talks really slow because he really watches what he says, which I appreciate, because I just kind of vomit out of my mouth because I just have a stream of consciousness is what helps me get my fucking frustration out. And I don't pussyfoot around shit either. And he's very careful, and I can respect that. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that when he tells his audience things or his subscribers things, it's factual. He doesn't put shit out. He doesn't blame anybody, but he's showing us the evidence. And he took a picture of Sebastian smiling and overlaid it on the marks on Christopher's arms from that first interview where they actually showed their faces. And Katie had that weird response that I'm going to do a short with. Hopefully, I don't have memory on my phone, so I'm hoping I can do it. But, anyway, he lined up Sebastian's teeth on that with an overlay, and it's fucking perfect. So, it is my opinion that Chris was at that house. It is my opinion that he was not supposed to be at that house. It is my opinion that he was going to file for divorce because he could not take the situation with Sebastian and the CPS shit, and he was trying to get custody of Faith, which makes no fucking sense because he doesn't even like children. I don't understand it. He's a control freak. I don't understand why he thinks that he should have custody. That's bullshit, and he knows it.
Yeah, I wasn't there to sleep around their house, and I told them, I'm not here. I just came to meet you and talk, and they're like, let's go look at Sebastian's room and look at the different entry and exits and whatever, so we did, and they haven't touched anything besides things that were maybe moved by T.I. or whatever. But T.I. did not talk. I've heard people talk about, I guess it's Seth. He said it.
Watch his body language. He doesn't look at the camera hardly ever. He literally closes his eyes. He does not look like he believes anything that he's saying. If you're investigating, then yeah, you should be fucking investigating. Not there to be buddy-buddy and have a beer and trust everything that they say. These people were the people that were responsible for this young man's life. And you're there to help, but you're not going to fucking investigate. You're just there to be chummy and just go in there to say hi. I'm not really going to ask you any questions. I'm an investigator, but I'm not going to investigate you because I'm pretty sure you're fucking guilty. That's my thought, anyway. That's my opinion. I think he's scared of what he'll find.
They tossed the room. I don't believe that happened at their place. It was just it was a typical 15-year-old teenage boy. Had 8x10 glossy photos taped on the wall of young country, or I don't know if they're all country, but singers and performers, and he had probably 12 to 15 of them autographed. And Chris told me that they would take them to I guess Walmart has something where they have meet and greets, and they take them there and you get these things, and he has them all on the wall. And then he has games, and it's just this typical teenager's room, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of sad to see, actually. You're like, wow, the shoes were there, and you're like, that. He's a real person, and all this chaos that's going on around him. But we're talking about a real person, and in the house, just the house itself. Like I can see where, like where the cow.
Yeah, he's a real person, and his shoes are there. What an interesting fact, Steve. As an investigator, do you find that odd that he didn't have shoes on? Do you find it odd that there's no evidence of him actually leaving his house? As an investigator, do you think that that's actually evidence in and of itself, that a 15-year-old child hasn't left a fucking trace of himself if he walked out the door on his own? Because I do. Why are you pussyfooting around this? We care more than they do. Why are we trying to find out what happened? And they're not participating. Why are they not Sebastian's voice? Why are they not just drowning out anything that they don't want to listen to and just be his advocate? That is a parent's job. And again, say what you want about Seth, but he is keeping his son's name out there. And if he's got to dance with the devil, he'll do it. He doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. He wants to find his son at all costs. So maybe that involves getting some fucking crazy ass people involved. I would fucking do whatever I could to find my child. I don't give a shit. I would give my life.
So like where Katie could see, like in other words, when she was talking on the phone, how he exits to go to the, he would have gone to the front door, which is just immediately right there. What the window was like and what sensors and security there was on.
So he's talking about how everything was secure. Sebastian would have had to walk straight. Katie's bedroom is right there. So if he walked through there, I don't understand why she wouldn't have heard him. I don't understand why there's no scent of Sebastian outside that front door. Do you, Steve? Do you think that makes sense? That there's no scent with a child that doesn't have shoes on? Your feet are where your feet and your head are where your warmth and cold, like that's where your heat releases and your cold enters. So you have to be very careful with your feet and your head. He doesn't have shoes on. First of all, he's gonna walk. Sebastian is not. He's an intelligent man. We have seen videos of him. A young man. He's a teenager. Okay, so yes, he's autistic, and I think most of the world understands that he doesn't need to be wearing diapers. And he's going to say something coming up that really pisses me off, and I'm going to call him out. And Steve, please feel free to contact me.
And then he showed me the canine tracking pass that some of the canines took, which was eventually that led to the retention pond. So he took me the whole way to that, and then we really talked about what the options were from there, because the thing is the land.
Okay, so I don't know if Steve's even confirming this information with anybody. He is an investigator. He's not hired, but I would think that he should fact check whatever he's investigating. He's getting information from what most of the world considers a person of interest, and he's just believing him. As far as I understand, what we heard on the scanner, that dog doesn't jump in the water ever. That's what his handler said. So he found it very odd. And as far as I understand it, and again, I don't have contact with the Bureau or anything, so I don't know for sure, but as far as I understand, that was debunked. And I'm pretty sure they said that on a press conference, that there was no scent. But Chris keeps talking about scents. He told, who did he just, Crabtree, who really has his heart and soul invested in this, and he's so confused by everything that's going on because he's gotten himself into the drama. Just ignore it, Steven. Do your thing. You're a good man. And so he told Steven a totally different direction. So why is he giving this Steve Fisher, SF Investigates, information about the dog going into the retention pond? That's what he just told him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was debunked right away, like 6 months ago. So I don't know why he's telling Steve that. And he just told Crabtree the path. He gave him the exact path that the flashlights went, and that a car was, and that somebody's security caught all of this happening, and they have way more footage than we have. So don't sit there and tell me that they don't have fucking people of interest. They're not going to come out and say it yet. And I cannot believe that you're advocating this and just believing somebody who isn't doing anything to find his stepchild. It's ridiculous to me.
Landscape is changing there because it's a some development, housing development, that everything's being graded and everything. But
I saw you show us that area pretty well.
Okay, I'm gonna go to a different spot here. It's getting really long, so I gotta stop. But
has this been substantiated that
couldn't I don't know. It's some of the stuff I've taken from Seth is that he just couldn't really do much on his own, without help, and I don't believe that's the case, at all.
Why? And this is.
Wait a second. This is really important right here.
Inquisitive.
He's talking about.
And they
he's talking about autistic children right here, and then he's going to talk about how Seth described him and how Katie and Chris described him. And I want to see how many people think that he's saying this completely backwards and that we can fucking show receipts on it on interviews that they've had. So let's listen.
And like to experience things and the different sensory perceptions. And so they're not doing this because they're disabled or they're getting in trouble or something like that. They're just, especially the children don't understand the risk and don't have that fear that we might hope. And so it's a real problem with water, but there's nothing to suggest that Sebastian couldn't. I don't know. It's some of the stuff I've taken from Seth is that he just couldn't really do much on his own, without help, and I don't believe that's the case, at all.
When have any of us heard Seth describe Sebastian as not being independent and able to function on his own? Seriously. What in the actual hell is he talking about? And how many times have we heard Chris and Katie degrade Sebastian and speak of him ill? That he likes to pee in his pants. He defecates in his pants. He has to wear diapers. And Steve is going to say right here that fucking Seth told Steve, or he heard that Seth said that Sebastian had to wear diapers. Have any of you out there in the world heard Seth ever say that he approved of Sebastian wearing diapers? Where did he wear diapers, folks? Where did he wear diapers? Leave me a comment. Let me know. It's fucking bullshit.
No, it's some of the stuff I've taken from Seth is that he just couldn't really do much on his own, without help, and I don't believe that's the case, at all.
Why? And this has this been substantiated that because I've heard rumors from different places that there was a CPS or DHS investigation against Chris and the family with regards to Sebastian.
So I honestly don't know that. That's not something I'm gonna go there with them on because
again, if you're seriously there to investigate and help, then you need to ask the questions that are going to give you answers. This is important. Why the fuck are you ignoring the fact that this is important? This is a huge clue. What is happening with the CPS? Is he not supposed to be at the house? What is happening, Steve? If you really want to fucking figure out what's going on, you can't ignore evidence. And you cannot have a bias or an actual thing in your head that you're trying to prove. That's not how investigating works. You follow the evidence. You don't make up your mind and then try to find evidence that substantiates that. You follow the fucking evidence. And to follow the evidence, you need to ask questions that are important to this case. It's bullshit.
You know, from what I'll just say from what I've heard, just through, and not from them, is that there was something investigating and closed. And I know that, I think it was even Seth that said that they had to kind of like talk to Sebastian, something about like, you can't just make things up. But because I think there's one against Seth too, where, you know, he was saying things to.
When have we ever heard Seth say that? Once again, why is Steve literally flipping the script? This is what people do on social media, and it fucking blows my mind. That is what Chris said. And he said it on Nancy Grace, if you want to see it, Steve. And there's plenty of other places he said that shit too.
Teachers, and you know, teachers are mandatory reporters.
Absolutely.
And they have to report.
And CPS does not go and tell a child that they're lying if they talk to somebody and tell them that something is happening. Down the Rabbit Hole said that she used to work for CPS. I'd really like to know, because I am a mandated reporter also, and I have seen so many children be in awful situations where CPS does get involved, but they clear them and they're still there in that environment. And now it's worse because somebody interfered and now they know that they're on the radar. And guess who gets fucking the brunt of that? It's really, really bad system. And it's not nobody's fault that works within the system except the people that literally make the decisions and allow them the money and the staff, because they are underpaid, overstaffed, just like most government employees. It's ridiculous. Yet we have people in government like Josh Levy rolling in the dough, being a corrupt asshole, causing huge life problems to an entire community and beyond. And he's out there fucking humble bragging about some other shit that is not his fucking prize. It's disgusting.
Everything. So, but there's never, listen, he would have been taken from that house if there was something.
And was he, Steve? Because he told us that he was not there for a month. That is an important fucking question to ask him. Why did you not fucking ask him, Steve? He wasn't there for a month. You are an investigator, and you're not going to ask him tough questions that might be uncomfortable but are very important. What in the actual fuck?
You know, substantial.
Absolutely. Well, and let me add this. I worked in, because there are people in the chat who said this, I worked at CPS for 10 years, guys. You would be amazed how many referrals people get. And sometimes there's substantiated things and unsubstantiated things. A referral, a call to the hotline does not necessarily mean an investigation. It could just be like a concern. And honestly, out of everybody here in the chat, if you got your kids, CPS doesn't discriminate. They're going to investigate or, maybe move those referrals out the way and tend to more pertinent.
Exactly. A lot of things get overlooked. A lot, because they're understaffed and they don't have the budget. So they may think that it's not, as big a deal as the other person down the road, but it's still important, and every child matters, and this needs to be taken seriously. If there's a phone call, you don't make a fucking decision that their case is less important than the next call that you get. And that's not your fault as an employee. That's the government, and that's the shit that we need to fucking hold people accountable for.
The concerns of children, if that makes sense.
And I've been working with a couple CPS investigators here in California lately because of a couple cases, and we have one in particular of a 13-year-old who's learned they can weaponize the system, and they tell us, they're like, if my parents don't let me do this.
And this is bullshit. Again, they're blaming the victim. He's going to blame Sebastian. He's going to take Chris Proudfoot's word, who has a history of violence, if he did his fucking investigation. He's called SF Investigates. Are you not investigating? Why are you not asking questions? This man has a history of abuse. Don't fucking tell me that it's not important. And don't fucking blame Sebastian. He has admitted to spanking him with a belt because he forgot his belt. He's an autistic child, and that's what he's going to get a whooping for? I mean, I feel like the only time I even really get mad at even my fur babies and scold them and maybe give them a butt slap is when they put themselves in a dangerous situation and they're not listening. That's the only time that I get so upset, and it's not that I'm angry at them. I'm not hitting them out of anger, and I don't hit them hard, but I just give them a tap so that they're like aware, like, no. And then they fucking, kind of wakes them up, and they're like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to do that. So, and then we, go have a timeout and talk about it. And that's my fur babies. This man had anger. He had resentment. Listen to the way he speaks about Sebastian. Go back to the beginning. He's changed his fucking personality now. He's put on a mask. He thinks that, he can fucking sway the public, and it seems to be working. Go back to the beginning, Steve. That's where you need to investigate. If you're going to actually investigate, you need to come into it without a bias. And you need to follow the fucking evidence. And you need to fucking follow the facts. And you need to look at everybody and everything. And God knows Seth is not perfect. He doesn't claim to be. I know he's got some shady shit. You need to investigate him too. But as far as I'm concerned, there's proof that he was at work. If that is false, then, you should figure that out as an investigator. It's just ridiculous to me.
I just report him to CPS.
Yes.
I'm trying to find, I thought it was.
Not every autistic person is disabled. So I think that's the piece that a lot of people are missing, that they're wanting to say, well, my son or maybe a family member is autistic, or my daughter, whatever it may be, and therefore this is how they would do things. And I also think that we've been, as a community here, been painted this idea of who or what Sebastian was doing from one parent to the other. And it sounds very conflicting sometimes of, their children's abilities or non-abilities or whatever it may be. And it leaves us very lost, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, we've done a couple of search and rescue teams, law enforcement teams. Autistic missing children is one of our big priority, and it's something that we really train a lot more in now, because there's new protocols as far as, we go out and we defend the water now. We're not really looking for them immediately. We go out and we defend the water, let them come to us, and but this is not because they're disabled. These are autistic children and adults are super creative, inquisitive, people that explore, and they like, and like to experience things, and they have different sensory perceptions, and so they're not doing this because they're disabled or they're in trouble or something like that. They're just, especially the children don't understand the risk and don't have that fear that we might hope, and so it's a real problem with water. But there's nothing to suggest that Sebastian couldn't. I don't know. Some of the stuff I've taken from Seth is that he just couldn't really do much on his own, without help. And I don't believe that's the case, at all.
Why, and has this been substantiated that, because I've heard rumors from different places, that there was a CPS or DHS investigation against Chris and the family with regards to Sebastian?
So I honestly don't know that. That's not something I'm going to go there with them on, because from what I'll just say, from what I've heard, just through, and not from them, is that there was something investigating and closed. And I know that, I think it was even Seth that said that they had to kind of talk to Sebastian, something about you can't just make things up. But because I think there's one against Seth too, where he was saying things to teachers, and teachers are mandatory reporters,
absolutely,
and they have to report everything. So, but there's never, listen, he would have been taken from that house if there was something substantial.
Absolutely. Well, and let me add this. I worked in, because there are people in the chat who said this, I worked at CPS for 10 years now. You would be amazed how many referrals people get, and sometimes there's substantiated things and unsubstantiated things. A referral, a call to the hotline, does not necessarily mean an investigation. It could just be like a concern. And honestly, out of everybody here in the chat, if you had your kids, CPS doesn't discriminate. They're going to investigate, or maybe move those referrals out the way and tend to more pertinent safety concerns of children, if that makes sense.
And I've been working with a couple CPS investigators here in California lately because of a couple cases, and you have one in particular of a 13-year-old who's learned they can weaponize the system, and they tell us, they're like, if my parents don't let me do this, I just report them to
Oh,
CPS.
yes. Oh, yeah.
And so, and investigators do have to go follow up with that. And there's not much you can do besides have a talk with the kid. You know, what are you gonna do? You can't throw them in jail. But they've learned, and the thing is, they talk to their friends that have CPS in their life, and they've learned to like, hey, I can't get my way, I just call CPS and say this happened or that happened. So,
Spirit,
you know, you can't believe everything when it comes, unless there's like a secret action taken. You know, like you're saying here with CPS, like when you guys take action, then it's substantiated. But there's so I gotta believe there's a high percentage of false calls.
Absolutely. Oh, there is a correlation between kids that are beyond the control of parent.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, the parent maybe is just saying, all right, it's time out, or it's time for you to go to bed, or you will not be out past this time, you will come back home at this time, and then they call CPS, and then it becomes like this, oh, this is just a conflict. Yo, this happens a lot. So for
they
those,
try to take the phone, and it's like that's the big thing that I've run across with these kids. Like, you take my phone, I'm calling CPS.
exactly. Oh, electronics phone. That's what I'm saying. For those that are believing the hype that there was a CPS investigation regarding this, this can happen to anybody. This just happens to be happening to this family because of what has happened, you know, with Sebastian missing and whatnot. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
With the whole situation with, I guess I'm so confused as to how somebody who is a reality TV star person, and it seems to me that it's interesting because I only hear about this personality when a case is national news, right? Not when it's something local, not when it's like, here comes this reality TV star. What do you make of this circus that is built upon this situation?
I don't know. You know, it's nothing against him. I mean, but this is not a. You know, I got a text from them. Chris and I were putting a group text, and then Katie and I were putting a group text, and it was like, "This is so and so from Dog Bounty Hunters, high risk fugitive task." I'm like, well, I can't help you with a high risk fugitive. I've never been a bounty hunter. You know, like, but that's kind of, I guess that's what they're considering. So that, you know, anybody that wants to search for Sebastian, go out and search. They have private property, do it legally, right? More eyeballs, better. But just because you found some bail jumpers, it does not translate over to missing autistic children. It's not, you know, he's used to dealing with getting tips from inside the jail, criminal networks. People are, you know, getting deals because of this, you know, to give information. It's on an island, you know, so, you know, it's not the same.
Okay,
I don't think he's there in Tennessee anyways.
All done.
I don't think he's out.
How is he searching?
I don't know. They said he had 24 investigators, is what I was told, and I was out there. I didn't see a single one. You know.
Okay, sorry guys, I had puppy time, but I hope you enjoyed that. I have beautiful fur babies that are super sweet. Little lightness to the darkness that we've been talking about. My little cutie boys, oh, you're so pretty. I was trying to find the spot where he literally said that Seth told him that he needed to be into diapers, and it really pisses me off because I don't understand.
Diapers and stuff, and so.
Oh, here we are, right here.
But this is not. So I've gotten the impression. I'm not trying to.
Let's see what she asks first.
Someone, and he was abducted, or what are your thoughts about that?
So.
Sorry, I'm.
With his kind of level, so it's because people have made out Sebastian to be like this non-verbal child and he doesn't know or anything like that. I'm like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, he looks like, I would think he'd be familiar with the area, right?
Yeah.
So is it possible that he's familiar with the area and somehow he met someone and he was abducted, or what are your thoughts about that?
So I don't have any evidence of the abduction theory right now, but listen, I'm an investigator. I'll go with the evidence. If any evidence shows that, I hope that's the case. I truly do. I hope somebody has him and we get him back.
Steve, you need to actually look for the evidence. You need to ask questions if you're gonna follow the evidence, because it doesn't seem to me, based on what you've been saying, that you're following any evidence or asking any questions, and you're completely flipping the script based on actual factual interviews that have been done that are recorded and on people's channel and on national news.
I just don't have anything to show that right now. You know, Chris did say he's directionally challenged, but this is not. So I've gotten the impression. I'm not trying just to tag on Seth, but I have gotten the impression from Seth that this is a kid that needed a lot of help. You know, we're talking about like diapers and stuff, and so
again, he cannot look at the camera. He's uncomfortable. He's literally trying to put shit on Seth by saying he's not putting shit on Seth. What, have any of you out there ever heard Seth say that Sebastian needed to wear diapers? Because what I've heard Seth say is that it fucking pissed him off that he had diapers at Katie and Chris's house, and he did not have diapers at Seth's house. He wore his big boy panties at Seth's house. So, what in the actual hell? Like, where are you getting your information? This is actually broadcasted. You can look for this on several channels. Chris is the one that literally said on an interview that Sebastian likes to pee his pants and defecate his pants. He literally said that on an interview. And said that, you know, everything that they said, with the exception of a few things that they were starting to realize that the public was not impressed with how they were describing Sebastian, because everything that they said was like, he doesn't have any friends, he doesn't know about personal space, so people, you know, if he wants to talk about something, he'll keep guiding the conversation back. He likes to pee and defecate his pants. People in his neighborhood had no clue that he even lived there. This is what Chris has said, and Katie. You know, and Katie threw in, you know, people at the interviewer in that interview said, well, you got to have some hope. And they're like, yeah. Oh, then they like played on that. Like, yeah, we hope he comes right back through that door and he'll have so much love here and he'll have so many friends because so many people are now aware of him, which I don't think that they were prepared for. And, it was bullshit. Like, they didn't bring it up. The investigator had to ask if they had any hope. Which is fucking gross. It was obviously made up. And everything that they said, like I said, there were a few exceptions after the interviewer kind of prompted them to say something nice about him. It was all negative. Like, okay, he's a teenage boy. He has, you know, teenage boys are fucking struggling in life. Every single one of them. I dealt with a lot of teenage boys when I was a teenage girl. I know how fucking not mature they are and kind of shit that they pull. And I was a naughty child, so I'm thinking that Sebastian was a little bit sneaky and kind of tried to push the limits, and that's pretty typical of a teenager. So none of that is like anything. It should be kind of, in my mind, if it was my child, I would be kind of giggling about that, like, yeah, he thinks he's sneaky, and, you know, like, nothing would be like, he likes to piss his pants. Do you really think that Sebastian likes to piss his pants? I don't. And you know what? If he's not pissing his pants at his father's house, you know what that tells me? There's trauma at the house that he lives in where he has to wear diapers and where he pees himself. Because it's a fear response. It's probably an abuse response. It's a trauma response. That is evidence. If that's happening at Chris and Katie's house and it's not happening at Seth's house, that's what we call a clue in investigation. So I'm going to end this because I've been on here for like 3 hours and my husband probably thinks I'm crazy because he thinks I'm crazy for all this. But I just am calling him out, and I hope to hear from you, Steve, and I hope that the people that need to hear this. This was just really, you know, I'm kind of a stream of consciousness kind of person, and I just need to kind of talk it out. And like I said earlier, I think the universe works in a way. I'm not a creator on YouTube. I mean, I have a YouTube channel, but I'm not like here to make money. I'm here to try to help and try to talk to people and try to bring truth and light into this true crime community, because there are a lot of people that make up shit, fake evidence, fake receipts. These people, it's disgusting. These are adults, and they're like, show me the receipts. I don't fucking, if I'm going to tell you something, it's going to be either my opinion or I'm going to tell you my source. I'm not going to sit and fucking go through and take my time to find every single interview. I will tell you where it was, and you can go find it if you're interested. Okay? Because I'm not going to say shit that isn't true. But there are, like I said, for every one honest person in the true crime community that is here for the right things, I think there are like 10,000 fucking crazy assholes that literally are here just to cause drama, make shit up, spread rumors, see how far they spread. They get probably paid by people, or they're at least, talking to the person, and they're told what narrative to spin, and that way they get paid on YouTube. So there's not a trail of evidence of that person that they're spinning the evidence toward. There's not evidence of a trail of getting paid there, because what they're doing is getting paid through YouTube because it's drama and people like it, so they sub up and they watch and they get paid for spreading false information and completely fucking with people's lives, and it's disgusting. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to call people out. I'm here to call attention to the people that need to be given attention, and the people that need to be called out. And I hope that I get some responses from the people I called out. Josh Levy, I'd like to fucking know what in the hell is going on with you. And Paul O'Keefe, I really hope that you're camping outside that man's door, and that you have the fucking feds and CIA and anybody involved trying to get to the bottom of it, so that he's held accountable, because he is between, it really is a organized crime syndicate between Karen and Josh Levy and her whole defense team and her family and Turtle Boy, and then all of these creators that have spun this whole narrative, and they're making fucking bank off of it. So again, there's no actual trail of them getting paid, but they're getting paid because they're spinning a narrative that people want to fucking listen to, because they don't want the fucking truth. And that's really fucking scary, that people are defending a murderer, a woman that cold-bloodedly hit her boyfriend with a 6,000-pound vehicle, admitted to it to her lawyer. Many people have heard, not many, but a handful of people have actually heard her lawyer say that out loud in a bar, and Turtle Boy was there and told him to shut the fuck up. There's so much evidence in Turtle Boy's case that is related to the charges that better come for Reed after her fucking murder charges, and I honestly think it's Rico. This is a fucking crime syndicate organization of people that are fucking with people's lives, within the government, within the community, within the so-called journalism. It's disgusting. So I really hope that we can take stock of what we are doing, because we are creating the world that is going to be here for our next generations. And the way that it's going right now, we are literally raising sociopathic people. We are teaching them that it's okay to spread false information. We are teaching them it's okay as adults to talk shit about other adults and cause all kinds of drama in people's lives. We are teaching them not to actually have conversations human to human, but interact on an internet where they have no face-to-face contact and they don't know these people and there's no actual accountability. And what do you think is going to happen in our world if people continue on this path? Because to me, it's really fucking scary. It's really fucking scary. And I know a lot of these creators have children, and they love their children. And I really hope that those that need to hear this, hear it and take stock. And really think about what you're doing and what kind of community and world you're leaving for your children and their children and their children. Are we even going to, are humans going to be extinct? Because at this rate, it seems like we're going to have a war within America. We're fighting each other. We're not talking things out. We're not actually looking for truth. We're making up our mind, and we're not listening to the other person's point of view. We're hearing it, but we're not listening. And there's a big difference. You can hear somebody talk and not absorb information. You need to actually talk to other individuals and treat each other with respect and love and kindness. Just because you don't agree with somebody doesn't mean that you get to go attack them and call them names and fucking go dig in their history and do all kinds of shit that's going to put them in danger. You can disagree in a fucking mature way. Again, what are we teaching our children? That if they don't agree with somebody, that they just fucking react out of spite as a petulant child? This is what adults are doing, so what do you think children are learning? We need to have conversations. We need to have an open mind, and we need to not fucking make up our mind and not be willing to change our mind, because that is how we grow, by making mistakes, by learning as we go, by seeking truth, by wanting a healthy, loving community, by creating the world that you want to leave your children in when you are gone, and your grandchildren. We need to stop the hate, and we need to spread love. That is what humans are here to do. That is our purpose, and that is the meaning of life. Love. Love and help each other. Not degrade each other, not look for differences, not point out differences and think that that's a bad thing. Differences are good. Disagreements are good. If we are going to evolve in a healthy, mature way, we need to start having healthy, mature conversations with people that have differing thoughts. If we just are so defensive and we're not listening to the other person, how in the hell do you expect to grow from that? It's not mature to have that kind of sense of mind. If you're not going to listen to the other person and hear them, what is the point? There's a difference between responding and reacting. And what I see happening, especially, I'm not a YouTuber, and I got pulled in on a couple of these cases, and I don't plan to stay here forever in true crime, at least, because people are toxic. But I need to follow a couple of these through to the end. But I think people need to start understanding the difference between reacting and responding. When you are having a conversation with somebody, you should be hearing them, listening to them, giving them the floor, not sitting there planning your attack. Because what I see happening, especially in the Karen Reed stuff, it's so disgusting, where I'll ask a question to a creator and they won't answer it. But then they'll turn around and say, well, why wasn't there blood somewhere or something? And it's like, his blood is all over his clothes. And there are going to be things that we're not going to know because we're not there. I don't know why he had blood at the bottom of his pants. I would think that he likely probably came to consciousness at some point. I think he threw up. I think this is John O'Keefe I'm talking about again. I mean, he probably tried to get to the house. So, some things are not going to be able to be explained, but you don't focus on the shit that you can't really explain. You follow the evidence. There's going to be outliers, and all of these people that are pushing Karen Reed is innocent are pushing all these stupid outliers that are just things that people don't know unless they were there. They can make educated guesses, but it doesn't. John O'Keefe having blood at the bottom of his pants, Aussie Insider, does not mean that Karen Reed is innocent of murder. Every single piece of actual evidence leads to Karen Reed, and if you don't actually fucking do that and believe that yet, then you need to take a break from social media, because you're either completely brainwashed and unable to look at the facts, or you're grifting and pushing a narrative to get paid for it, because you don't have a healthy mindset and you don't care about other people and affecting all of these people's lives that you are affecting by claiming that Karen Reed is innocent and all of John O'Keefe's family and friends killed him and know about it and planned it. It's disgusting. It is not true. And it's one of two things happening. You either know that and you're doing it on purpose and you're making a choice to create that kind of society and community, or you fucking literally can't look at the evidence. And you seem like a very intelligent person. So I'm thinking that you are either choosing to be ignorant or you're choosing to ruin people's lives on purpose to free a murderer, a psychopathic, abusive, narcissistic, borderline personality traits girlfriend. You're trying to help her and blame all of the people that love him and care about him. Karen told Matt outside of court that she didn't love John. He straight up asked her, "You love John, didn't you?" And she said, "We were just dating. Just dating." It's fucking gross. Okay, this is really long. I need to get off this, but I hope some people get, hear this and find something that they can take with them. Take what makes sense and leave the rest, is what I say. I have my opinions, you have your opinions. I love open conversations. I would love to be able to figure out how to do panels and stuff, because I don't have any of the equipment to do anything like that. I don't have whatever that program is that people use, Stream. And I don't really feel like paying for that, for me saying my opinion. So I don't know. Hopefully I can maybe be invited on other panels, unless I can figure out how to do panels on here. But I just love to have open conversations with people that are respectful, that are mature, and want to, parse through some shit and figure out what's going on with our world and what we can do to help make it the America that we want, the America that we believe in, that is fading fast. And there's so many factors, so many different areas to cover. And I think it's great that people disagree. I don't want this case, the other case that I got into, the Idaho 4 case, I wanted people to prove me wrong. And the only time that people there were 2 creators that totally let me jump on the panel, and I just spewed like I did here tonight, and it was awesome. And they were very open-minded, but the problem was everybody there believed basically the same thing I did, and I kept trying to talk to people who believed the opposite thing. And Drunk Turkey, I'm going to call you out, because I'm going to do a conversation on the Idaho 4 soon, and you are a dick, and and so is your woman. I don't know if she is your girlfriend or your wife, but she is a fucking bitch to me. I was on in the chat, which I rarely am, but I was watching Swamp Rose, and I was in the chat, and they were talking about the sound of people reacting when they were getting their lives taken away from them in a horrific way. And your girlfriend or woman, Sirius Black, I don't even know if that's a moderator of yours or your woman or whatever, but both Sirius Black and another person that was in your chat are they're total bitches. And you were a total bitch, because when I was on your panel, I was trying to have a fucking conversation with you about the facts, and I don't really know how all this shit works, and so I didn't know that you fucking muted me. You talked straight over me, and you literally muted me when I was talking. For most of the points that I was making, you literally muted me, and I had no idea until I went back to watch the conversation after we got done, because I was so pissed that you were talking over me, and you were not listening to me, and you were doing what Turtle Boy does. You just deflect. You don't answer questions. You answer questions with a different question that has nothing to do with the question that I asked. That's deflection, and I want to know why the fuck you're doing that. And you are XLE, and that's why people trust you. And from what I know, you did not I literally asked you if you investigated a homicide, if you investigated a stabbing homicide, and you told me yes. And literally at the end of that stream, or the next stream, it was right close to each other, I heard you literally say that you've never investigated a murder. And from what I've been told, so I don't know if this is true, but you were like a beat cop for like 2 years. It's not like you have all this experience in being a detective. And this is the kind of shit that pisses me off, because Sean whatever on Going Through the Motions totally was grifting. I mean, he's one of the main characters in this grifting. Melanie Little as an attorney, she's civil. I don't know, she was an actress too. I mean, she basically has her same personality that she had on when she was acting. Roberta Glass, you guys got to check her out. She's awesome. She talks about innocence fraud, and everybody needs to be aware of that, because that's what's happening in Karen Reed in real time, and it's the first one that's happened pre-trial and real time. And Americans need to know what the fuck that looks like, so that we are asking more questions and not just believing the fucking defense. The defense is there to defend somebody that is indicted. They may or may not be guilty, but most of the time, they're not just going to grab somebody off the street. Yes, there are wrongful convictions, but there are a lot of people that get freed by the Innocence Project that are not innocent. And the only way that you are ever going to know the actual truth is by getting the documents and doing the, what the hell is it called? Oh, my brain just fried. where you go, you write and you get public information from all of the court documents. And that's what we have to go through to find the truth. And if you do that with Turtle Boy, Aiden Kearney, and Karen Reed, you're going to find the truth. Nobody can fucking look at that shit and actually think that she's innocent. There are a lot of people that have gone through the Innocence Campaign, Innocence Project, that are getting freed, and they're not innocent. They are actually guilty, and they're getting them out on some fucking bullshit. And the only way that we're going to know that is by actually reading the documents and the actual evidence, because a lot of evidence cannot be brought into court. There's so many rules about court and rules of evidence and the way things can come in. And so we're not getting all the information in the court, and the prosecutor can't sit and prep his people and tell them what they should say and shit like the defense can basically do. And so when the prosecution is asking all their witnesses questions, they may not quite understand what they're trying to get out of them. And so, like, for example, in the Karen Reed case, I'm still stuck on what Lally wanted Matt to say about the waves in the snow. Like, he kept talking about these weird wave lines in the snow that he saw in the front yard. But to me, I had no idea what he was talking about. I need to ask Kevin if I remember. If Kevin, if you hear this, let me know, because I'm thinking that maybe she actually drove up on the snow. Like, those were maybe tire tracks, because, you know, it's very difficult to drive that fast backwards drunk. And so she, you know, when Turtle Boy did it, he went up on the curb. So I'm thinking that Karen probably fucking hit him up there. That's what I think, but I haven't heard anybody say that. But based on that, like, what was Lally trying to get out of Matt? I don't know. Be curious. So, anyway, I gotta get off here. I've said that like 4 times, but love and light to everybody. Double speed me. I love interaction, so please like, subscribe if you like my content. I know it's very stream of consciousness, but maybe it would help somebody, hopefully. And just please, universe, spread love and light, folks. That is our purpose. It takes way too much energy to be angry and hateful. It drains us and it makes us sick. And that's not what we're here to do. And I don't like talking about politics, but it sure seems like that's what's happening. Like, we're supposed to be divided. And it's been happening for a long time. And it's coming to a head. And the only people that can fucking change the course of our evolution is us. So, let's be honest. Let's be trustworthy. Let's talk with integrity. I have a potty mouth. I have the mouth of a sailor, but the heart of Mother Teresa. So, if it offends people, that sucks, because it's just me. I'm unapologetically me. I like my cuss words, and fuck is very versatile, so I love using it in all the different ways, like fuck you, you fucking fucker, fuck. So I need to make t-shirts like that, I think. It's not, I'm not saying it offensively. I know people take it offensively sometimes, and that's kind of sad, because that shouldn't be something that you waste your energy on, worrying about words that people use that you might not like. Again, listen for the message when people talk, you know? Don't shut them out just because you don't like one thing they say or you don't agree with them, and then you're just like, I'm done, I'm never listening to that person again. Like, don't listen to them for that case. Or do, you know, that's the other thing about human beings, is we need to listen to the other side. Because if we have a belief in something, if we're going to actually engage in life and society, and grow as humans and evolve, then we need to listen to the other people and different opinions. Because what that's going to do is it's either going to solidify your belief even more, or it's going to start making you think in a different direction, which is evolution, which is what we're supposed to evolve. And right now I feel like we're devolving. It's pretty disgusting when I see adults act like fucking teenagers all over the place, and people just getting pissed off because they don't agree with one thing that a person does, and so they're just fucking rude to them, and all that shit spreads. If you're crabby to one person, that person is going to be crabby to the other person that they encounter that day, and it spreads. So I encourage everyone that hears this to please just smile at people as you pass. Make eye contact, not like, you know, creepy eye contact. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Look at them. If they're, you know, at a customer service somewhere, buying something, or you're walking into a store, open the door for somebody. Open the door for people that are elderly and wait for them and help them in. I mean, just simple things that people need to get back to the basics. I'm a fucking farm girl, so I'm not used to, I mean, I am now because I've been, you know, living in all over the country. So but it's still a culture shock when people are just fucking rude and they don't help each other. And they're like, that's not my job. And they don't really give a shit about us as humans. And all of that shit spreads. On and on it goes. So we need to reverse that. And it's really simple. And you can start it very easy with simply smiling at people. You know, and if you want to up it, start opening doors for people. Wait for an elderly person if they're coming into the doctor appointment and they're taking a little time because they have a walker and you have to wait there and be grateful that you can help somebody and open the door. Their eyes will glimmer with gratitude, because that's not fucking normal in this world anymore, and it should be. That should be the norm. I don't know what is going on. So I'm begging society, everybody, to just start simple. Smile. That's all you have to do. Just smile at people as they walk by you. Smile at people that piss you off even. You know, if you're in traffic, just smile. It'll totally change your body energy. You'll feel it all through your body. And that person will feel it all through their body. And that shit spreads. So if you're smiling and making somebody smile, they're going to spread it that way. If you're being a bitch, that's going to spread. So it's up to us. And every single day we have a choice. Every single moment. We're all human. We're all going to fuck up. We're all going to piss people off and disappoint people. That's what, you know, humans are not perfect. But we have to be willing to evolve. We have to be willing to seek truth. We have to be willing to let our egos go and realize that we could be wrong about something. And that we should not talk as much as we should listen. You know, the old saying, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Focus on the important things. Stop focusing on petty bullshit. I think I've met a lot of teenagers that are more mature than a lot of the adult people that I see in the world. It's pretty sad. So some parents are doing it right. So props to you. Keep it up. Very proud of the generations and the parents that are not on their phone and not texting their children when they're in the same house, and actually sitting down and having supper and talking about their day and learning about what's going on with their children and talking to them about things that they need to be aware of as they're growing. And, you know, do it in a fun, simple way, little clips of it so it's not super uncomfortable if it's an uncomfortable conversation. But we need to talk to our children. We need to help our children advocate for themselves. We need to stop fucking giving awards for participation. And if your child has an issue with the teacher, let your child first talk to the teacher. Don't interrupt that. That is part of being a parent. You need to allow them to start advocating for themselves, because when they're out of school, what are they going to do? You can't go interact with their professors at college. It's illegal. They need to understand how to speak for themselves, and they need to practice that before they become an adult, and you're not there as their safety net. We can do this, America and beyond. But it's up to us, and we have a choice. So I would like to spread love and light to anybody that hears this. I hope whoever needs to hear this hears this. I hope it helps somebody. I'm here for, you know, love and support and real conversations and real facts and disagreements and philosophical conversations. Like, I want to get deep. I want to learn. I want to be real. I want to create a community of love and kindness and not all this fucking trauma drama bullshit. It's pretty gross and it's very toxic. And y'all that participate in that know that. And I don't know how you can not have that in your real life, because that shit travels. It's an energy in your body. Whether you're on your YouTube being like that or not, it's in your body. It's not healthy. And if you have children and grandchildren and you're acting that way, I don't understand why you want to leave that impression on your children and grandchildren and leave them in a world that is way worse off because of actions like yours. It's time to reflect, America. It's time to look intrinsically and reflect and admit that, oh, maybe I did that wrong, or I spoke to that person wrong and I should apologize for that. Take accountability. It doesn't need to be a big deal, but take accountability. Speak your mind and do what you got to do. We are all going to offend people, but we're not here to pussyfoot around shit. We're here to love, but we're here to be real too, and teach each other. Every single person that you encounter in life, that we encounter, is our teacher. Whether they're teaching us a lesson of how to do something or how not to do something, everybody is a teacher. And we need to take note of that and not be stuck in our little bubble, in our echo chambers, which I see so many adults doing. And again, especially in the fucking Karen Reed case. And I'm seeing it a lot in the Sebastian Rogers case as well. And it's really toxic. Like, get out of your echo chambers and have real conversations with people that maybe don't agree with you, and stop being defensive and listen to what they have to say and respond, and don't react. Take a moment. When they say something, listen, hear them, process it, then respond. Don't let them talk and you're hearing da 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 coming out of their mouth like Charlie Brown, all the while you're sitting there preparing your reaction. And you're not hearing them, but you're prepared with this really good comeback. May have nothing to do with what they said. Like, come on, that is not an adult conversation. We have to be willing to be wrong. The people that are most successful in life, you can look in history, like Bill Gates and different athletes and people that, you know, have been very successful, made a lot of mistakes, have, you know, gone broke on a couple of things, but they learned and then they become very successful. If we're not brave enough to make mistakes and be real and authentic and find truth and spread love and light, then what the fuck are we doing here? Every single person is responsible for their own selves, and every single person is responsible for the people that they surround themselves with. And the people that you hang with speak volumes about who you are. And if you're living in an echo chamber, you're not evolving. And that's really sad for our whole country and beyond. So I am going to actually get off. I'm going to sign off now. I do love you all. I don't know you all, but you are all my brothers and sisters. I may not agree with any of you. I'm kidding. I agree with a lot of people, but I disagree respectfully with a lot of people as well. And I'm just asking questions and looking for truth in a lot of these cases, 3 of these cases specifically. So anybody that wants to reach out, I'm here for it. I'd love to have conversations with people that want to get real and have, you know, deep conversations. You know, I've listened to Elevated Truth. If you hear this, you know, I like your vibe. I don't agree with a lot of the shit that you're saying. Same with Clueminati, but I respect both of you. I'd really like to understand why you're carrying water for these people, why you're not calling them out, why you're not actually asking them the questions that need to be asked. These are the people that were in the primary care of this child that is missing. He didn't just evaporate. I think we need answers. And I think that they need to stop worrying about fucking people trying to find their son in a way that they may not approve of and fucking taking them to court, but not going on news stations that ask them to go advocate for their child. How the fuck is that okay? How the fuck is that something that you support? It's bullshit. It's really bullshit. So those are the kinds of things that I literally just want to know, like, what's the angle here? Because I see it so differently. I see some of the shit that you're saying. Like, I get some of the stuff with Seth. I get that, he's surrounding himself with people that are suspicious. But ultimately, he is the one advocating. And I know that you get different vibes from him in person, and I get that. And I kind of picked up on that without even knowing him. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't love his son. So, and I don't buy this whole, like, he's obsessed with Katie thing. I think that would be more apparent. I'm sure he still loves her. He has a child with her. I think any people that, people in my past that I have loved, I still love. I don't stop loving them because it didn't work out. There might be resentments there, and there might be things there that are black that I need to clear out. But that's my responsibility. But it doesn't stop the fact that I love them. I don't just stop loving somebody because something happened or, So yeah, I'm sure he still loves her. But not in a way that he's obsessed about her. I think that would be a little more obvious. I think that he fucking wants to talk to her, and he wants her to talk to the media because she is his mother, and he is fucking as probably more horrified by the fact that she refuses to talk to the I don't give a fuck what happened between them. I get there's some shit, but none of that shit should matter when their child is missing. Nothing should matter. In my mind. That's just me. I mean, I've had some pretty bad men in my life, and if we had a child together, which I don't have children with any of my exes, but if I did, the worst of the worst, I would fucking not even give a shit. Like, I would be talking to him. I would be trying to figure out, like, what does he do? What did he do when he was at your house? Who does he talk to? Da 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 da. I mean, you're not gonna fucking find me sitting in a fucking camper 3 hours away from where my son went missing with a man that was going to file for divorce and not looking for my son, not going to, I mean, the whole thing. I gotta stop this. It just makes me crazy. So help me make sense of it. Anybody that hears it, I would love it. I'm gonna sign off, and love and light to you all. And please smile. Please smile at everybody that you come across. Mwah. Love you, America, and beyond.